What's up guys, this is your favorite fanfic YouTuber, the Fanfic Majesty, and welcome to another amazing video. You can follow me on Patreon for exclusive stories. 7LF. Chapter 118. Marine Vigilance. The Battlefield of Instant Riots. Marshal Simon. 33. Simon, who was dealing with a lot of work in the office, raised his head and looked at Marine, who hurried into the office, and said calmly, "What happened?" Marshal Simon. The Rocks Pirate is on the move, their goal is the Grand Line, and the exact goal is still uncertain. But there is news from the Sword Force that the leader of this operation is Rox D. Zebek. What? 99. Simon was also stunned for a moment, his brows furrowed, and then he said unceremoniously, "Continue to notify, vigilantly take precautions, if you know what the other party's main purpose is, report it immediately." Yes. 35. Marine soldiers quickly withdrew, while Simon frowned slightly, thinking secretly, it's really strange. What exactly does this guy Rox want to do? According to this guy's character, it's impossible to do such a thing, or what is he thinking? Squinting slightly, Simon felt very strange. Seriously. Simon has gradually discovered that a huge problem has begun to occur inside the Rocks Pirate. And if such a huge problem is not handled properly, the result will naturally be something that doesn't need to be said. Only, under this huge question, then, what happened in the end? Or, what was the situation? And this is the most strange thing, because of this. Simon is the only one who thinks it is strange, unless it is said that Rox thinks that the internal contradiction should be transferred by what method, and this is the way he chooses. Strangeness. Strangeness. It's so weird, Rox. What the hell are you trying to do? Squinting slightly, Simon's expression was very solemn. Although he said that he was old, it did not mean that he was completely insane, and Simon was very clear about what happened next, and this is the most important thing. Woo. Slightly let out a breath of turbid air, Simon turned around and looked at the crane who was gradually walking into the room, and said calmly, "Xiaohei, have you already known the specific situation?" Teacher. 35. The crane bowed slightly, showing great respect. That's right. The Marine Marshal Simon turned out to be his teacher. Maybe everyone is not aware of this situation, but this fact is indeed the case. Simon is his teacher. This also proves that many different the thing is. Woo. He let out a deep breath, and Simon's expression was very solemn, and he said very seriously, "The situation of Rox Pirate is very strange, and the other party's actions are very strange and strange. Normally, in this at times, such actions are almost meaningless. Xiaohei, what do you think the other party's actions are for?" This. Crane thought for a while and then said, "Teacher. Do you think it is possible that Rox is diverting our purpose?" That's right. Crane is worthy of the future Chief of Staff of Naval Headquarters. Such a strategy in mind is indeed shocking. It is only an instant that he has already guessed the problem, and the possibility of this is still very large. The possibility of this problem very high. Simon nodded and said, "Xiaohei, the possibility you said is very high. It's just that these things can't be determined for the time being, so say it. Under the circumstances that you can't be sure at all." Yes. YF2F. Teacher. 35. Crane nodded slightly and continued, "However, teacher, I still think the possibility of this is very high. As long as you are not an idiot, you can see the contradictions of Rox Pirate. They have huge internal problems. This is not simple. Time or what action can make up for it. The gap between them is absolutely huge." 99. Simon nodded calmly. This is indeed the case, this is an undeniable thing, and because of this, then. What is hidden behind all this? This is what makes people feel the most to fantastic things, or rather. What is the greatest question in all of this? This is the fundamental, just like what the crane said, now the problem of Rox Pirate, it is not that you transfer the contradiction, this matter is settled like this, or it has been solved, this is pure nonsense. It is simply unrealistic, and because of this, what is the root cause? And this is the most important foundation. Operator. He thought a little about many situations, and Crane thought a little. "Teacher, can you be sure who the other party is acting?" Unconfirmed. Shaking his head, Simon said calmly, "This time, no one has appeared, and except for Rox alone, almost no other traces can be seen." 39. Really? Crane said with a serious look, "It's almost as I guessed. Teacher, the purpose of Rox Pirate is to hide their actions, although I don't know what their purpose is, but obviously this time Rox Pirate definitely has a big move, otherwise, it is impossible to do such a thing." Nodding earnestly, Simon naturally guessed such a possibility, or rather. This possibility is too high. It is almost the problem in front of us, such a huge possibility, then what will happen next? What, actually? This is self-evident. After frowning slightly and rubbing his brows, Simon continued, "This matter cannot be determined, but no matter what, since Rox Pirate has started to act, we still have to keep up, this is a very troublesome thing. Yes, at the same time of the game between the two sides, when one side cannot be the core of the master, then the problem is that it will be very troublesome. You can only follow the other side all the time like a follower. No matter what the other side does, your own reaction speed is extremely high. Slow, and this is the most fundamental core. Because of this, you can't deal with these things at all, you even say. There is no way at all. In such a situation, what will the result be? In fact, it is self-evident. Xiaohei, you will continue to be in charge of this matter. You will handle everything. This old man needs to talk to the people above. Yes, teacher. Crane nodded, and then stepped back, while Simon looked solemn. He looked at Crane who was leaving, and murmured, "Rocks. What exactly do you want to do? This era, it has reached such a level. What else do you want to do, or rather, for a guy whose life has reached its limit, what else do you want?" His eyes are very sharp, and Simon's expression is extremely solemn, because he is very clear that the next thing will be the most troublesome thing, even to say. Next, what will happen? Is the most terrifying thing. Simon is very clear about all this, he knows that the next thing will always be the most troublesome. Seriously, in that era, there were only two people left, Simon and Rocks. Simon felt that his life was almost reaching its limit. Just like the revival of many old people, Simon also felt that he was going to die. But, under the same circumstances, Rock's life has almost reached its limit, and under such circumstances. What will happen next? This is the most strange thing. It is too weird, or, to put it another way, the current situation is too weird. He let out a helpless sigh again, and Simon murmured, "Rocks. Sure enough, you have always felt helpless all your life. No matter what, your whole life is the same as mine. In that case, it's time for our two old guys to retire. This era belongs to young people, but it definitely won't belong to our two old guys." There was a sharp light in his eyes, but Simon didn't continue to say anything, because all this. It's all meaningless things. This era belongs to these old guys, and it is also necessary to come here. It's over. If that's the case, then everything is about to begin. Wow. As the waves churned, Rock's expression was very calm, he said secretly, "According to what I know about the old guy Simon. If there is no accident, the old guy will guess what I think. But, it doesn't matter. Humph. 35. Rocks proudly raised the corners of his mouth, a sharp light flashed in his eyes, and said lightly, "No matter what the outcome is. I don't care at all, it doesn't matter at all, but. No matter what, I don't care. I'm very interested in what's coming next." Right now, the huge fleet has gone straight to the distance above the sea, and the target is a group of countries in the Grand Line. This is a group of countries formed by 10 countries. There are a large number of countries in this group, and at the same time, it also contains a lot of benefits, and their gold and silver treasures are also very huge. All in all, no matter how you describe it, but one thing is certain. These 10 countries are definitely very rich, and the status is very special, which is why Rocks chose them. Seriously, according to Shiki's ability, it would be too easy to attack directly from the sky. Because of this, he chose such an open and above-mentioned attack to delay time. No matter what, be sure to draw out the powerhouses of the Red Line, whether it's the Army, Air Force, or World Government. This behemoth that has existed in this world for 800 years, what kind of power does it have? Maybe, in the eyes of many people, it seems that it is not worth mentioning at all. Except for Marine, it seems that there is no strong person, but this is purely a joke. Marine, Air Force, Army, the three armies are beyond doubt the CP organization of the espionage organization. Besides, there is also this special unit that belongs to the world government. Even celestial dragons will be punished. To put it bluntly, your celestial dragons have privileges, but when you violate something that should not be violated, you are also will be dealt with. The Knights of God. This is a powerful organization that deals with such things, so say it. Don't think that there are many people on this ocean that are actually not worth mentioning at all. On the contrary, this is purely a joke, because when they all come together, you will find out how terrifying it is. The world government, a terrifying organization that has existed for 800 years, has what kind of terrifying power it possesses. And the moment this power erupts, it may be the whole world that will be overturned, or in other words, all those who want to subvert the world government will be dealt with, because this force is too terrifying. Call. He let out a sigh of turbidity. Rock's expression was very calm, as if he was thinking about something, quietly looking into the distance. His eyes with his hands behind his back were filled with endless indifference, as if there were no emotional fluctuations at all. But the more so, this is about horror. After all, how amazing is that power to this terrifying monster? Actually, this is self-evident. It is even said that this is the power that will make people feel endlessly terrified. If it is handled well, it is naturally all things that are beyond doubt, but if everything is not handled well. In fact, it is self-evident. Rocks also knows that this action is actually a big gamble. If it fails, it will be difficult for most people in Rock's pirate to leave alive, except for themselves. Things are up. Wu slightly let out a breath of turbid air, while Rock's expression was very solemn. He murmured in a low voice, "Everything. In fact, it's all in front of you. If that's the case, then this is the beginning. He he he. With this cruel sneer, Rox said indifferently, everything. Since it's all in front of me, then I also want to see if you guys will catch this one and only one. Opportunity. 35. Humph. A cruel killing intent emerged, and Rox regained his composure, as if he didn't care about Qianuo's these things at all this. Eyes. Can. No matter what the outcome is, in fact. All of this is in front of you, and all of this. It's nothing to worry about. You don't need to pay attention to it at all. Everything. It's all about to start. Little ones. Oh hoo. With the voice of Rox, all the pirates burst out with terrifying roars, while Rox opened the corners of his mouth and made a hideous and crazy laughter. Oh ha ha ha, little ones. It's all ready for Laozi. Today, all the treasures you get are yours. All of this is yours. I'm attacking Laozi. Oh hoo. 35. With this deafening and terrifying roar, all the pirates seemed to be crazy. They made a madness. They made a horror. They made an unparalleled roar, and accompanied by this terrifying roar, one by one the pirates have also launched an attack. Kill, kill, quote. They are all roaring. This country is already in sight. Such a rich country. All the treasures belong to them, and these pirates are like crazy, and because of this. All this is the most interesting thing. What happened next? With such a roar, everything started. Even including Rox, everyone is already crazy. They don't care what the next result is, under all this crazy. Greed, war, horror. This already represents everything. Or, who knows? P.S. 5,000 word chapter. Daily 6 updates. 4th update. Please subscribe. Please customize. Please collect. Roar. 99. Hee hee. Kill. Chapter 119. Rush to the red line. Make trouble. Kill. Kill. Oh hoo. Ha ha ha. With this deafening roar, a large number of pirates launched an attack in an instant, and on the opposite side, a large number of marines were already prepared to take precautions. If you look closely, you will find that not only marine, but also marines. There are tons of other troops. Everyone is ready. Right now, the entire battlefield seems to have become completely different. Boom, boom, boom. The roar resounded wildly in the ears, as if it was echoing in everyone's ears, and this feeling is the most shocking and despairing. This completely different feeling, maybe. For people, things that are incomprehensible are not exaggerated at all. Oh ha ha ha, accompanied by the familiar and heroic laughter, Rox said proudly, Simon. You are not dead yet. Or, you are still the Marshal of Naval Headquarters, really. He he he. Simon also said lightly, Rox, for this old man, as long as you have not been dealt with. The old man should still not die, at least. The old man will not die in front of you. Really. 9. 39. The two looked at each other, and there was only terrifying killing intent in their eyes, and this terrifying killing intent was the most terrifying. The two of them had no intention of showing mercy, in other words. There is only one preparation for the two monsters, and that is to defeat each other. That is to kill each other. Besides, these two monsters have no other ideas. Search. Licking the corner of his mouth slightly, these two terrifying monsters all have the same idea, but the two people did not make a move. They knew that the two of them could not make a move casually, otherwise the impact on the whole battle situation would be real. Is too huge. Only, the battlefield at this moment is unusually chaotic, as if everyone is caught in chaos. Boom, boom. The roar resounded frantically. No one knew what the result would be, and Simon said secretly, sure enough. The cadres who joined the battlefield are very rare. Except for Golden Lion, no cadres have joined the battlefield. Rox, what exactly do you guys want to do? Thinking about all this carefully in his heart, Simon is very clear, although it is very different. However, the other party is definitely ready, or in other words, the other party seems to be waiting for his own action. Too careless. So what will be the result? Actually, this is a self-evident 890 thing. Because of this, it is absolutely impossible to have any carelessness. Even the slightest carelessness is absolutely not allowed, because it may bring about the death of life. Or everything dissipates. These cannot be determined, but precisely because it cannot be determined, it can be more certain that the other party's preparations are very troublesome. Tick-tock, tick-tock. With the blood dripping, no one knows what the outcome of this war will be, or even say. No one knows what will happen next, but another point. It is certain that if there is any carelessness, then it is the most terrible thing. Tick-tock, tick-tock. Hearing the roar in his ears, Newgate frowned slightly. The war has broken out here, I don't know. What is the situation on the red line side? Newgate did not shoot immediately, but hid in the dark. Exactly. Not only Newgate, in fact a large number of people are hidden in the dark, and everyone is kept secret. Otherwise, when everything is exposed, it will be very troublesome, because of this. These things need to be very vigilant, but also need to be seriously considered, and absolutely cannot have any carelessness. And what will be the next result? This is also something to consider. Because of this, everyone has never had any carelessness. Daddy. 35. Tiger stood beside Newgate and said softly, you can rest assured, the uncle and the third uncle will not have any problems. Newgate nodded. As for why Tiger is here. In fact, it's a simple question. Although Tiger's strength can't say how good it is here. But one thing is certain. Tiger's ability is very special. That's it. Tiger is a murloc, and as a murloc, Tiger can even take people away directly. And Tiger still prepared something like an oxygen mask this time. If there is any problem, then take the father and leave directly. This is also what the uncle ordered. After all, although Alan said that he knew, there would be no problems. But this is knowing, but is there really no problem? All these are hard to say. Or rather, all these things that no one can determine. Because of this, be careful not to be wrong. This is something that is not a problem. Be careful, not any problem. If anything goes wrong with the Rocks pirate, then Tiger just leaves with Newgate. At this point, absolutely the most important thing. Same. Tiger also nodded his head immediately after learning about this. It was definitely not a problem to escape. That's why Tiger stayed here all the time, and he didn't go out to fight anyway. It wasn't a big problem. No matter what happened outside, there will be no problems. On the other hand, Newgate narrowed his eyes slightly, looked at everything in front of him quietly, and thought secretly in his heart. Everything that follows. It is the most special. No one knows what the next result will be. What is it? Wu slightly exhaled. This sentence. Definitely not any joke. Just like what Newgate said, this is a war on the Grand Line, and what will happen in the war on the Grand Line? No one knows. Nobody understands. Even say, no one knows what the next result will be. Perhaps what you are most concerned about is the result of the war. But this is definitely a very dangerous battlefield, and it is definitely your own life that you pay accidentally. Things that are beyond doubt are things that do not need to be doubted at all. Wow. The sea water hits the red stone without any change at all. This is called the Red Line, which is the largest land in the world. Compared with other land, it is basically a block of islands. But this continent is completely different. There are many changes on this continent. Or, to put it another way, this continent surrounds the entire world. It is the largest continent in the world, and it is also the world government. The gathering place of the invincible power in this world. And besides that, what does everything else represent? Actually, this is already a very interesting thing. Because no one knows what the result will be. Even more, no one knows what the follow-up will be like. Because of this is the most funny thing, isn't it? Squinting his eyes slightly, Kaido said boredly, brother. When do we need to wait? 99. Count the time. Alan thought about the time, but after thinking for a moment, he said, continue to wait for a while. Don't worry, the time is not right, although the war has started, and a large number of strong people have left, but this time is not suitable. Okay. 9. Big brother. 99. Kaido also nodded, although he said it. He knew what the situation was, but Kaido's character is such a more violent character, not the kind of character that can wait for everything quietly. If it is such a character, then Kaido is not Kaido anymore. But this kind of thing, it's understandable, it's not a strange thing. Kaido is such a character, tyrannical, horrible temper. If it weren't for such a character, it would be the strangest thing. 4 o'clock. 5 o'clock. At this time, Akoku pushed his beard and said slightly, this time is the most suitable time. At this time, no matter who it is, anyone who is not prepared will feel tired. The same is true of the top powerhouses, there is no doubt about this. Good. Listening to Akoku's words, and everyone nodded, this is indeed the case. If there is no preparation, at 5 o'clock in the morning is definitely the time when a person is the most tired, there is no doubt about it. In particular, AGFJ, for Red Line, it is undeniable that the people who guard the Red Line must be well prepared. They must be very elite people. They cannot be lazy at this time or something. But you must be clear about that. Whether you are lazy or not, you have to understand. Red Line, there has never been a little bit of invasion, if 1 day. 10 days. 1 year. 2 years. Everything like this can be persisted. But such a thing has not happened for more than 800 years. Under such circumstances, what do you think the result will be? Actually, this is self-evident. It is even beyond doubt. The thing is, in this case, the result is that there is no need to doubt. They will naturally relax, because what has not happened in more than 800 years, why is it happening today? This is a sick sentence. But it is also the most relaxing thing, because it has not happened for too long, and under such circumstances, it is natural that some people will relax. Wei Wei let out a sigh of turbidity, while Beloric thought about it and said, this is not an important matter, the rest of the matter, just take it easy. 99. Everyone nodded. The 4 of them just waited quietly. Time doesn't need to be rushed. It's too easy to say. Soon, when the night had gradually dimmed, and a little bit of light was revealed, Alan's eyes flashed a ray of light, and his eyes were sharp. It's time to act. It's time. Talking. Alan opened his eyes with a sharp light, and said, let's go. 35. The magical power of the chicken charm appeared, and with the 4 people, they went straight into the distance at that moment, and the speed of the 4 people was extremely fast. Almost in an instant, they had reached the peak of the red line. Under the blessing of the divine power of the chicken talisman, all of this is nothing but insignificant. Humph. Alan snorted slightly, and the 4 of them had already come to the top of the red line, so they stopped. Red line. Is that the city of God? Humph. It's really interesting. Yes. Everyone is looking around with fun. Mariajoy. Actually, this name is the general name of everything on the red line, and the cities that separate it all are cities, and these cities have the ancient city of Pan hidden by I am, and the city of gods where celestial dragons live, and many other cities, which come together to form Mariajoy. Alan took out a special thing, which seemed to be a radar-like thing, but it felt very strange. Looking around, Alan said, "It's in this position, next. I'll go to this place." The location takes away the permanent pointer, and your goal is very simple. You take all the treasures here and it is over, as long as you can take it away, it doesn't matter. 6,699. Oh, the 3 of them all appeared at the same time and showed an interesting look, even if it was Baroric, he has money. Pay attention, or rather, be more dignified. He wants to find some precious materials here, and take these precious materials to get what he wants. This is what Baroric wants to do, as for everything else. Not worth mentioning at all. That's what Baroric thinks, and the others are very simple, treasure. All they want is treasure. Brush. The cold light suddenly passed by, and the people who patrolled here have been dealt with. Looking at the gray military uniform, Alan said casually, "People from the army. The next thing is your business, make a fuss. Go." 35. No problem. Worororo. Big brother. This is what I do best. Kaido was very excited with the mace on his back, and in addition, Baroric and Akoku were also looking around, wondering what was going on. No one knew. Alan continued. 30 minutes. 30 minutes at most, remember. I'll be back here in 30 minutes, and when I get back here, we'll leave immediately, so say. If you can't be ready if so, then there is no need to say more about the result. Listening to Alan's words, the 3 of them nodded, naturally they knew what Alan meant. 30 minutes. Everyone only has 30 minutes to do what they do. In other words, if you can't handle all this within 30 minutes, then just stay here forever, this is the only result. Brush. Alan's foot fell, and the whole person disappeared like an afterimage in an instant. At this moment, the new patrol unit came here, and they saw the corpse at a glance, and the expressions of the 3 people who were already in front of them immediately became ugly. Everyone. Ha ha ha, I won't give you this chance. Akoku dealt with these guys in an instant. For them, it is not the time to expose. At least this time is definitely not the time to expose. If it is exposed at this time, then the first action will be a failure. Akoku, Baloric, Kaido. The 3 of them looked at each other, turned around, and left in unison, as if they didn't care about all of this at all, and this situation was the most strange thing, because no one knew what happened next. Just what will happen. With the departure of the 3 people, there is no need to guess to know what the next result will be. P.S. 5,000-word chapter. Daily 6 updates. 5th update. Please subscribe. Please customize. Please collect. Chapter 120. Superpowers. Dark Emperor. Are you planning to threaten Rock's pirate? Tick tock. Tick tock. Dispose of these people, and Akoku said very indifferently, so say. Don't be too presumptuous, you guys are nothing worth mentioning to me at all. If I remember correctly, the patrol time is about once every 5 minutes, and the soldiers who were killed should have already been discovered. 5. Akoku is a person who likes to use his brain to think about many problems, of course. A lot of everything is very clearly considered. After a little thinking, naturally, you will understand what will happen next. After careful consideration, Akoku went in the other direction. And, with Akoku's departure, the ground is left with corpses one after another. These people are Marines people, and there are other people, but no matter what kind, it doesn't really matter. These are meaningless things, at least. For Akoku, these are meaningless things. Snapped. Snapped. With Akoku's departure, these dead people are gradually discovered. Enemy attack. Enemy attack. 35. Everyone beware. With this roar, everyone made a terrifying roar, and they began to be vigilant with a solemn expression. Someone died. So what does it represent? In fact, it is self-evident. Things are up. Even say, they probably dreamed and never thought that such a thing would happen in the red line. This is simply incomprehensible. You know, this is the red line. And in such a place, someone would appear here to shoot. It is absolutely incomprehensible. And because of that, everyone is immediately alert and busy. No matter how you describe it, they are also the most elite troops in the world. They are the troops of the Guardian Red Line. If there is no preparation, it will be the strangest thing. And Akoku looked at the person who was acting in front of him, slapped his beard slightly, and whispered very indifferently, they have already begun to be vigilant. But, these are all indifferent things, they don't need to be paid attention to at all, except for besides. After thinking for a while, Akoku's eyes were not far away. The lamp wall was brilliant, just like a palace filled with endless mansions. No, no. It should be said that this place should be the gathering place of palaces. A large number of palaces are gathered here, just looking at it is a different feeling. It is too luxurious. City of gods of celestial dragons. 35. Humph. The corners of his mouth twitched, and Akoku said indifferently, "This is the most interesting place, isn't it? How much treasure can you get here?" A smile appeared, and Akoku walked towards the city of God indifferently, not hiding his figure at all. All those who found him were killed by himself, and such people were no opponents at all. And Akoku's real goal is the city of God. After all, no joke, how much wealth is there in other places? Akoku is not interested at all. The whole world government, Mariajoy, on the red line. Anyone who is not an idiot knows very well who is the richest here. Is there anything else besides this city of gods? It's just like bullshit. There is absolutely no doubt about the wealth of celestial dragons. Only, just as Akoku knows that the city of gods contains countless wealth, this is the city of gods where the celestial dragons live, so what kind of danger is there? Actually, this is also an undoubted thing. Or, this is also a very scary thing. If you are not prepared enough, the price you need to pay for this is, of course, the price of your life. Same. Akoku is a person who likes to use his brain, and his brain is very good. If such a situation is not understood, or if there is no preparation at all, then Akoku might as well die. It is just like waiting to die. Therefore, on the contrary, Akoku has already made all preparations. This time, Akoku stopped, hidden in the shadows, and said secretly, whether it can be successful. But it's just watching the situation once, if it fails. Shaking his head, Akoku didn't say anything, just walked out step by step, while his body gradually disappeared, it seems. It's like a transparent fruit, but this devil fruit, Akoku is not if you can eat it, this devil fruit is not suitable for Akoku's devil fruit. Because of this, what is Akoku's ability? This is the most amazing thing. Or, what is Akoku ready for? Some things. But very interesting things, no one knows, what exactly is Akoku prepared, or rather. What is hidden in the dark? Everything. It is hidden in the dark, ready. Snapped. Compared to Akoku, Baroric didn't hide anything, he just walked around in a big way. Facing all the attackers, he easily defeated him. In his eyes, as if there were no opponents at all. Really too weak. 35. Too weak. Not worth mentioning. Baroric stopped, looked around at everyone around him, and said indifferently, "You are too weak, you are not worth mentioning at all, your strength is not worthy of being my enemy." Baroric's voice was very indifferent, but he told the truth, because Baroric's strength was absolutely beyond doubt. As the most terrifying powerhouse of Rock's pirate. If you have to rank it, then the most terrifying Rock's pirate is Captain Rock's. This is absolutely. There is no doubt about it, and who is the second? Yes, I know. Edward Allen. Compared with the position of cadre, the position of deputy captain requires real strength. If you don't have enough strength, do you want to become deputy captain? It's like a dream. In other words, don't dream. And the real third powerhouse is Baroric. Even Newgate and Shaki are slightly different from Baroric, and such Baroric naturally dislikes these rubbish. The people, though they say, seem to be elite enough. Baroric Redfield. His character was originally arrogant, like a nobleman, so he can say it without any jokes. Baroric's strength is here. With his own strength, he is comparable to the Whitebeard Pirates and the Roger Pirates. After thinking about it for a while, the regiment knew how powerful Baroric was. It can be said without any hesitation, it is obvious here that absolute strength is an undoubted thing. Just a bunch of boring weaklings. But, snapped. Baroric walked out into the distance step by step, while the terrifying blood appeared under his feet, and accompanied by the blood emerged, in an instant. It seemed that everything would be destroyed. To be swallowed up. The blood devoured everyone, and Baroric murmured, "You can use it to improve my strength." 4 years ago, after the battle with Allen, although Baroric said that he lost by one move, but if he lost, and Baroric admitted without a doubt, but the same. Baroric was there after the First World War, the vampire fruit was developed to an astonishing level. Even say, the development has reached a very terrifying level, and at this level, what is the result? In fact, it is self-evident. Baroric's strength has grown tremendously. Now above the sea, Baroric's strength is absolutely beyond doubt, even to say. Quite terrifying. Woo. Wei Wei let out a sigh of turbid air, while Baroric swept around slightly and said softly, "If I remember correctly, this is the place, and I don't know what it is here." Baroric's expression was calm, but he was walking in one direction. For Baroric, he is not particularly interested in those gold and silver treasures, and it doesn't matter what devil fruit is. No way. Baroric doesn't have any subordinates, so he is naturally not interested in these things, even talking. These seem to be meaningless to Baroric, and there is nothing that needs to be taken care of at all. That's it. And under such circumstances, what level of growth will Baroric reach? In fact, this is beyond doubt, it is dead. Baroric is a little maid who has some strengths powerful. But, that's probably what happened. No more doubt needed. Now, what Baroric needs to look for is some materials. He wants to upgrade his bat umbrella, or slightly transform it into a walking stick. In the past, Baroric needed a bat umbrella, but now he no longer needs it. Now, all you need is a walking stick. That's what Baroric thinks, and such a precious material, in the red line. It must be a matter of course. Snapped. Snapped. With the departure of Baroric, the entire red line has begun to become abnormally chaotic. Boom. Boom. The deafening roar resounded, it is undeniable. Although there are only 3 people, the impact on the entire red line is extremely huge. The red line is too huge, and it is so huge that when one person appears, when causing confusion. So, 0 katakana middle dot asterisk 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 katakana middle dot. It will be a huge chaos, and the reason is very simple. On the red line, there are a lot of slaves. Or people of other identities. In normal times, naturally, there is no problem. Only, when someone made a noise, it turned out that there was no need to say more. Of course, Kaido is not interested in these at all. He remembered what his elder brother said, and went straight to the trading city. Where else? Hehe. It's pure nonsense. Other places are very strict, only the trading city. This is the city built by the people who gathered on the red line, and they trade here. After all, there are only 2 ways to end from the red line. The first one, either choose the road of world government on the red line, or take the Fishmen Island. As for the 2 roads, although the former requires money, it is safe. And over time, such a trading city is naturally built, which is not a strange thing. Second point, then it is the Fishmen Island. Compared with the red line, is the Fishmen Island much more dangerous? Of course, some people are still crazy enough. After all, there are still many people who like to take risks. Do it, spend less money. Because of this, Kaido is eyeing Exchange City. Joke. In the trading city, there are rich people here. After one robbery, that is the biggest profit. Snapped. Snapped. The store manager looked at Kaido in front of him and said in a low voice, Edward Kaido. Do you know who the person behind me is? 35. Worororo. 0. Rubbish. Are you threatening Laozi? Or, are you threatening Rock's pirate? What? Come tell me. Kaido's eyes flickered with terrifying light, like a terrifying evil ghost, and looking at Kaido's appearance, the store manager couldn't help swallowing the words that came to his mouth again. I really can't afford to offend him. Can't afford to offend. This guy really can't afford to offend. No way. Rock's pirate is purely a group of terrifying lunatics, not to mention that this action is not the action of the 3 Edward brothers but the real Rock's pirate. He has to have a little idea, is that ready to die? So say, give up, give up. Joke. He's just a store manager, isn't he? As a store manager, is he planning to make trouble with these guys? It's like a joke. No, it's like nonsense. I can't make trouble with these guys. Pure nonsense. Don't say that he is under the command of the superpower. Even if he is the king, you dare to trouble the Rock's pirate. Even if it is not the old birthday star to eat arsenic. It's just impatient to live. So, don't kill yourself. At least, don't court death. This is really courting death, if you really plan to fight against these monsters from Rock's pirate to find trouble. Then I can only say, you'd better be honest. In this world, powerful countries are called superpowers. And the same. In this world, there are many powerful forces, they are not countries, they are more like people in the underground world, and they are much stronger than the underground emperors, so they are called Dark Emperors. Superpower. Dark Emperor. These 2 are arguably the real masters of the world, but compared to Rock's pirate. Anyway, cowardly. Cowardly. Lao Su is cowardly, how do you like to say it? Lao Su is convinced. Is it still not good for Lao Su to take it? Just keep the situation like this. In the end, I don't need to say anything, I'm just being honest. Do whatever you want. The result is of course needless to say, isn't this the current situation? Kaido didn't even take action, he just left with the treasure chest, which contained devil fruit and precious treasures. It can be said that the entire store was looted. After leaving, he directly raised these treasures to the sky through the flame cloud. Among them, the control is to leave. Anyway, your own flame clouds can be controlled by yourself, and there will be no problems. After all, without the devil fruit ability of the space system, it is very difficult to be able to take and leave through such a situation. With Kaido leaving with a lot of treasure, next, Kaido swept the entire trading city, basically all the rich. Just kidding, although the money is not their own, but their life is their own. Especially when faced with terrifying lunatics like Rock's pirate, if they really think they can survive. That's the scariest thing, isn't it? As long as it is a person, it is very clear. These monsters, but they will not be afraid. P.S. 5,000 word chapter. Daily 6 updates. 6th update. Please subscribe. Please customize. Please collect. Chapter 121. The permanent pointer is in hand. The solicitation of the commander-in-chief of the 3 armies. Kaido. Akoku, Baloric. These three guys made troubles, not just them. With the chaos of these three people, the entire Red Line, a large number of slaves also followed the unrest. Kaido and Akoku, two people have already put a lot of after the slaves were released, they started setting fires directly. Even though, the trick of setting fire is very pediatric, but, you don't need to admit that in front of the flames, the chaos is the greatest time. The three strong men, the huge flame, and the large number of slaves, when all this is the beginning, when there is turmoil, the situation naturally becomes completely different, and the entire Red Line is in chaos. And this, it was the best chance. Alan's figure flashed like an afterimage. The next moment, but it disappeared without a trace in an instant. This is the divine power of the snake charm. The snake charm is not as simple as just being invisible. It can even hide everything. To be honest, although the ability of the transparent fruit ability person is very excellent, it can be detected through observation hockey and scientific and technological means. It is not ruled out that if the level of development is high enough, what level will it reach, but the same as there is no such problem with the snake charm, because the snake charm itself is very special, and there is almost no such problem. With the disappearance of the snake charm is everything, not just his own figure, but also all the breath, all of which will disappear without a trace, and this is the most terrifying thing. Permanent pointer. Alan whispered softly, and the whole person disappeared without a trace again in an instant, all without any awareness. Alan's ability is so terrifying, and this is the fundamental reason why Rox entrusted the task to Alan. For Alan's ability, seriously. In this sea, almost no one knows, 8 or 90, Alan's ability in the end how much, or rather. In the end is how much. But, what is certain is that Alan's ability is definitely very complicated, and outsiders may not know about the ability of stealth at all, but Rox knows a little bit, after all. As the captain of Rock's pirate, he has some intelligence sources are also very normal things. A permanent pointer to the Valley of the Gods. It is the final result of all the thoughts of Rock's generation, he knows. With his own power, it is almost impossible to overthrow the world government, or in other words, it is almost impossible to become the king of the world by yourself. The mission of the D family. Indeed, that is the mission of the D family, but everything now is meaningless, and the root cause of all this is when the Nika fruit disappeared. Nika fruit. This devil fruit is very special. If it weren't for the ability it chose, then this devil fruit would disappear, and it will always disappear. That's why, 800 years have passed, and there is still no world government. The reason for this devil fruit. Under such circumstances, Rox knew very well that he was also rejected. In this case, everything about him would be meaningless. Therefore, that being the case, then the mission of the D family is meaningless, so just try it for yourself, and see what the final result is. That's what Rox think. Rox D. Zebek. This monster-like man is ready for everything. He tries his best, but he also knows what will happen next, and because of this, Rox also knows that even if he fails, he will die in his own right. In the prepared battlefield, instead of dying on the hospital bed. It's all for the last madness. A tall man with white beard and hair, but he gave off a feeling of arrogance and anger. Slowly raised his head, he narrowed his eyes slightly, frowned and said, "What the hell is going on? What happened?" Report. Boss Sen. Someone is making trouble on the Red Line. Make trouble. Listening to the report, the man named Sen frowned slightly. Go ahead, who is making trouble? Rock's pirate, Kadri, Edward Kaido. 35. Rock's pirate, Kadri, Baroric Redfield. 35. Rock's pirate, Kadri, King Beard. These three people are making trouble in the Red Line, and a lot of flames are burning, plus a large number of slaves have been released, and now the battlefield is abnormally chaotic, and the entire Red Line has been in chaos. 95. Sen nodded and said, I know, this matter, let me know and deal with it. Put out the fire and arrest the slaves, as for those three little devils. Don't take it too seriously, they can't do anything, first put out the turmoil, deal with it. Yes. The soldier immediately withdrew, and as the soldier withdrew respectfully, Sen frowned slightly. Rock's pirate, what exactly is this kid trying to do? Never mind. For this matter, the old man has no time to manage. The Army Admiral and the Air Force Admiral are now not on the Red Line for reasons. 99. The corners of Sen's mouth twitched, and he said interestingly, it's a good time. Obviously, it's just to come at this time, so it must not be purely to make trouble. What do you want? It's interesting. It's interesting. Rox, you little bastard, but quite interesting. A cold light appeared, but he did not expect that Rock's pirate would be so crazy. Seriously. In Simon's eyes, the Rock's pirate is indeed extremely terrifying. For the major forces in this world, the Rock's pirate is a monster among monsters. But Sen is not. World government, the commander-in-chief of the three armies. Sen. As a high-ranking figure in the true sense of the world government, in terms of rank, he should only be weaker than the five elders, and such a terrifying figure. Sen is very clear, the so-called strength. The so-called strength. Not at all blow it out. Where the strength of Rock's pirate is placed, it is probably the same thing. As the commander-in-chief of the Air Force, Army and Marine, Sen understands it very well. If it is not for Marine, the real top version of Marine, a Marine can do it. Rub the rocks pirate on the ground. Even so, Marines from the same period had at least 5 to 6 Admiral-level combat power, the last time. They also had 4 Admiral-level combat power. This kind of strength has actually been proved. Above this sea, the real top is world government, and everything else. It's not worth mentioning at all. Sen frowned slightly, as if he was thinking about something, or walked out of the office, and with Sen's departure, everything seemed to have returned to calm. Only, next moment, a looming figure was standing by the window, and said interestingly, "Is this the strength of the commander-in-chief of the 3 armies? It's really scary. Compared with Captain Rock's, it seems to be almost the same, no. It should be weaker. Rock's the captain's strength is indeed a little more terrifying. But, this strength is indeed amazing enough. It's a pity, it has nothing to do with me." Alan was very indifferent and took away the permanent pointer that was placed in the office. It was easy to find it. Although it was said to be hidden, I was also holding the radar that Captain Rocks got it from. With such a radar, it was too easy to find the permanent pointer. Only, snapped. Before Alan could leave, the door was pushed open again. Sen stood at the door with his hands in his pockets, and said very calmly, "Little devil. Although the old man can't see you, the old man is keenly aware of it, and it is undeniable that he said your breath and everything about you are completely undetectable, but don't underestimate the old man. The most terrifying thing is the feeling of the old man who has come over so many years." 35. Those pitch-black eyes were like vertical pupils, and there was a terrifying light in Sen's eyes, yes. He found the trace of Alan, or rather, he felt the trace of Alan. But the weird thing is that he didn't find any trace of Alan, but he felt that there was a problem. This was the core of the fundamental. So, everything is in front of you, what will the result be now? This is the most interesting thing. 66.99. Alan remained silent, without any words, and Sen continued, "I now know that the goal of your rocks pirate is the permanent pointer to the Valley of God, so it is. This is what that rocks kid thought. Is indeed very interesting. Unfortunately, in the opinion of the old man, it is not worth mentioning at all. If, with the power of your rocks pirate, you want to overthrow the world government. That's just a joke." As a ray of light emerged, Alan's figure was sitting on Maury's original chair, and he said interestingly, "Seriously. I didn't expect that you would notice my trace. According to your the strength, the commander-in-chief of the 3 armies, is indeed very terrifying. Unfortunately, normally, you should not be able to perceive it. After all, your strength is slightly worse than that of Captain Rocks." 35. Sen was stunned for a moment, and then said directly, "So it is, the current strength of this old man is slightly weaker than that of the Rocks kid. The growth rate is really terrifying." He, Alan said interestingly, as expected of a big man. He didn't feel annoyed when he found out about such a thing. It is undeniable, Sen's boldness is really worthy of this position. Even if he knows the meaning of Alan's words, he doesn't care. It's not an opponent or an opponent. It's not a shameful thing. Ha ha ha. Sen Hao laughed loudly and said, "I don't want to be angry because of such a small thing. Rocks is very strong, the Marine Marshal, both Admiral, died in the hands of Rocks, otherwise, this position should be it was taken over by Marshal Marine, not the Field Marshal of the old man." Alan leaned on the chair and said interestingly, "In that case, everything is very interesting. So, Commander-in-Chief of the 3 armed forces, since you have found my trace, are you planning to arrest me?" "Arrest? Try it and see." Sen is very indifferent. Seriously. The old man's natural sense is very keen, but, because of this, the old man knows that any trace of you has not been shown, and the old man wants to catch you. Almost impossible. Sen. He was born with a terrifying sensory ability that surpassed wild beasts, as if it were an instinct. If this ability were to be called super intuitive in other words, it would simply be beyond control ultimate. And because of this, Sen has been greatly improved along the way, relying on his own super intuition. And in such a situation, what will the next result be? In fact, this is not the case. A self-evident thing. Although Sen is said to be powerful, and observation hockey is also extremely terrifying, but I don't know how many times I have seen the future. As long as I make a move, this kid Alan wants to escape, and then disappears without a trace in an instant, like this ability is very special. Sighing slightly, Alan's expression was very calm, and he said interestingly, "Observation hockey peeking into the future. It's really a pity, although my observation hockey is also considered top-notch, but the distance has reached such a level of peeping into the future, always feel something is wrong." Lieutenant Rock's pirate, Edward Allen. Hearing that Sen suddenly called out his full name, he was also taken aback. Alan said strangely, "So, the commander-in-chief of the 3 armed forces, are you planning to take action?" Sen nodded and said, "Shooting is a very sure thing. Even if the old man passed through the future, I saw your departure time and time again, but even so, the old man still has to take the shot. This is the responsibility of the old man. But, Edward Allen, are you interested in joining world government? What? When Allen heard this, he was stunned. He looked at Sen, the commander-in-chief of the three armed forces, in astonishment. Even he didn't expect that he would say such a thing. Seriously, at this moment, Allen a bit deceived. What do you mean? How did you do it? What do you mean? Sen still said calmly. The old man is very clear about what he is talking about, and the same. The old man can also see your potential, your talent, your aptitude, and how outstanding the ability to pinch is. 55. Among the Rocks Pirates, apart from the Little Devil 5.9 in Rocks, only you three Edward brothers, the three Edward brothers headed by you are the most outstanding, and you. I have been observing you for a long time, your abilities are outstanding in every way. 5. If you are willing to join the world government, then, I can be sure, even if you are not from the Third Army, but I can still arrange for you to become the commander-in-chief of the world government. This position will belong to you after 10 years. Sen's voice is very calm, even to an ultimate level, giving a feeling that Sen is not kidding at all. Even say, do not. Exactly. Sen, I'm really not kidding. This commander-in-chief of the three armed forces really has this feeling. He is very keenly aware of what the problem is, and he is even more acutely aware of how outstanding this man is. If this man can be recruited, then the commander-in-chief of the three armed forces is really the right thing to do. 66.99. Allen was a little dumbfounded. It was the first time that he, who has a crazy personality, encountered such a situation. Someone wanted to recruit him, and he was still the commander-in-chief of the three armed forces. Seriously, if only this position could be achieved. It is already possible to talk to the world government in a real sense, and that is the position to talk to the five elders. If Admiral is a dog in front of the celestial dragons, job is up. It is undeniable that anyone who faces this promise given by Sen will probably choose to agree. But, is Allen a normal person? Or, Allen has his own ambitions and is not interested in all of this. P.S. 5,000 word chapter. Daily 6 updates. First update. Please subscribe. Please customize. Please collect. Chapter 122. Fruits of the Forest. Monsters. It's already in sight. Ha ha ha. Feel sorry. Allen laughed, but in the end he refused without hesitation. Commander-in-Chief. I'm really sorry. To be honest, I am really very interested in your proposal, but I am very interested in becoming the people of the world government are not interested. My ambition and everything I have made me unsuitable for this path, otherwise. At the beginning, I took the second child, that stinky boy, to join Marine. Listening to Allen's clear rejection, Sen was not annoyed, but said calmly, you can probably guess it, after all. For a man like you, a decision that has already been made is basically it won't change, because of this. The old man feels a pity, you are too good, if a man like you can join the world government, it will bring different changes to the world. What? Meaningless. Allen waved his hand and said, the pirates are all raised by the 5 old guys from the 5 elders. Otherwise, the pirates cannot be dealt with according to the power of the world government. This is just like a joke. 66 to the power of 9-5. For Allen's sarcasm, Sen shook his head and said, some words, the old man really said it like a sophistry, but it's still the same sentence. A lot of everything must be done according to this rule, and the guarantee is only big the interests of some people cannot guarantee the interests of all. Allen nodded with a smile and said, it's not wrong to say that. Guarantee the interests of most people, commander-in-chief of the 3 armies, you are indeed right when you say this. But, Allen shook his head, stood up and said, this is the end, count the time, 10 minutes have passed, our agreed time is only 30 minutes, and there are still 20 minutes, I still need to consider whether I can get more gold and silver treasures. After all, this is the red line, and there are plenty of rich people and celestial dragons. Ha ha ha, looking at Allen, Sen laughed instead, Allen, you really have a great appetite for this old man. If you are Marine, no. If you are any member of the 3 armies, the old man is willing to let you become the old man. Disciple, teach yourself. Pity. After shaking his head, Sen calmly said, the past has already passed. 06, next. Then, you are welcome, old man. 35. A sharp light flashed across his eyes, and Sen opened one hand, or in other words. All 5 fingers turned into vines and went straight to Allen, calmly said, I know, if you want to leave, then. The old man is almost unstoppable, but no matter what. The old man wants the truth, after all, you are very special. Oh, an interesting smile appeared, and Allen looked at the fruit ability displayed in front of him, and said interestingly, Logia Sensen fruit ability person. You know this devil fruit. I do know something. As a very special devil fruit in Logia, it also has a very terrifying power. It seems to be the power that breeds everything, just like the sea. It is undeniable that among the Logia devil fruit, the same it belongs to a very special devil fruit. 35. Ha ha ha. Listening to Allen's words, Sen said interestingly, it's very interesting. It's very interesting. I didn't expect that on this ocean, someone would actually know what the devil fruit of the old man is. However, it is not important anymore, the old man. I just want to see what your strength is. Alan, if you can't show enough strength, you won't be able to leave this old man alive. Click, click. At a speed visible to the naked eye, a large number of branches and vines have emerged from all directions, and the entire office has been covered in an instant. At this moment, the branches are wrapped around the jet black armament hockey, which has penetrated like a sharp blade. With one hand in the posture of a knife, Alan grinned and said, "It's really interesting. Let me see what the power of sensen fruit is." Talking. Alan was not afraid at all, and slashed directly with one hand in the posture of a knife. Although his attack was not a real sword attack, according to his own strength, the power of this blow was equally terrifying, and in such a result under. Jingle. With this crisp and sweet voice, Alan raised his eyebrows slightly, that is, he felt like he was colliding with some kind of magic weapon. It's useless. Useless. 95. Sen said very indifferently. If such a simple force can break the old man's ability, then the old man is very shameful. 35. With this faint voice, more and more tree roots spread out, like a long spear, wrapped around armament hockey, heading straight for Alan, but facing such an attack, Alan grinned. Kai said interestingly, trees. Then. Roar. The monstrous flames burst out from Alan's body in an instant. The raging flames were like a burning sun. Alan said fiercely. In front of the flames, the so-called trees are originally restrained, aren't they? That also needs a boy. Your armament hockey can be stronger than this old man. Otherwise, everything is a joke. Dragon fist. Wooden fist. Suddenly, the two shot at the same time. A terrifying wooden fist suddenly rose from the ground, and Alan turned into a roaring fire dragon. Boom. The two exploded in an instant, and the power generated at this moment seemed to destroy the entire building. The smoke billowed for a while, and the two figures rushed out of the smoke. Commander Sen. Mr. Sen. Everyone back down. 35. The surrounding soldiers immediately surrounded, and following Sen's order, the soldiers immediately retreated. They knew. What is the situation? Retreat quickly. If the commander-in-chief Sen cannot defeat the opponent, then they were just joking around, and it was nothing worth mentioning at all. As everyone retreated, Sen said interestingly, the power of flames, and it's definitely not the power of Mara fruit. The old man did not expect that your strength would be so special. But it doesn't matter. The old man doesn't care. Alan, you should be very clear that there is indeed restraint between abilities, but in the face of absolute strength, it is completely meaningless. Click, click. The earth began to crumble, and with the crumbling earth, branches and vines emerged one after another, and the frantic growth seemed to penetrate everything. In this short period of time, the vines and branches spread out, is the most shocking thing. Alan looked at the strength displayed by Sen, and said secretly, seriously. This ability is really similar to wood style, but I always feel that the development of fruit ability by people in this world is just that's all. Alan is really embarrassed. People in this world are really good at open-minded attacks. As a result, the development of fruit abilities is actually very rare, so they don't say anything else. Talk about sparkling fruit. Sparkling fruits is the attack power getting stronger. It's just nonsense. Anyone who knows about lasers knows that the more you expand, the more powerful it is, but after you have compressed it, if you can compress all the power to a point, then the explosion, the power that comes out is the most terrifying thing. In an instant, it will be the power that devours everything. This is the most terrifying power. This is also the most powerful power, and from what lava fruit, frozen fruit, and the current forest fruit, or some other devil fruit, all in all, it's basically the same situation. Although devil fruit is very powerful, it's really not that good if it's developed by those who are capable. Drink. With Sen's loud shout, a large number of offensives spread in an instant. All the giant trees turned into huge fists and smashed them down at Alan. It seems to be a very simple attack. But you definitely want to. It is admitted that such a simple attack is very terrifying. With enough strength and the amazing armament hockey, the power that burst out is extremely terrifying, and even makes people feel only endless fear. Boom. Boom. Next moment. Sure enough, the monstrous roar exploded, and in the endless roar, Alan's expression was very calm, as if he didn't care about these. 3 terrifying shock waves burst out from his eyes and mouth, and these 3 shock waves directly destroyed everything. Roar. Dragon blast. Electric eye burst. With the impact of these 3 horrors falling in an instant, all the trees were blown apart in an instant. What are the trees? Even under the control of a top powerhouse like Sen, the weak side of a power like fire, it will still show up. But with the roar, this is not over. Sen's body has turned into a huge tree man. His lower body is directly rooted in the ground. His hands are also running through the ground, and the surrounding ground is roaring violently. Forest fruit. Actually, the most terrifying thing about this devil fruit is not necessarily how powerful the individual is, of course. If it is developed well, it will be very terrifying. The most terrifying thing about this devil fruit is that it can absorb the nutrients of the enemy, and with the absorption of nutrients, the ability itself will become more and more powerful. Of course, this kind of absorption does not mean that the other party's nutrients are completely absorbed, but it must be absorbed within the limit that one's body can withstand. Some guys think that as long as you eat the fruit of the forest, you will absorb the powerhouse. You can become stronger without limit. Isn't this just pure nonsense? Your body simply can't handle this amount of energy, so can you get stronger? Can you hold all the energy without limit? You obviously only have the capacity of a bowl of water, but you drank a bucket of water. Except for that bowl of water, isn't the other water wasted? You still want to force it. It's like just kidding, there is only one possibility, and that is a breakout. This is the only result, there is no need to doubt it at all. Because of this is the root cause. Alan grinned and said interestingly, the power of the forest fruit. If it is a positional battle, or when facing a large number of enemies, it is indeed a terrifying power, but brush, bear. Raising his hand, the monstrous flames directly devoured the trees that were spreading towards him in an instant. Alan said proudly, if you are defeated by such trees, it's a very shameful thing. 95. Alan has absolute confidence, there is no doubt about this, just kidding. Although it is said that the strength of the three-armed commander Sen is indeed very strong, but the problem is, if you beat yourself like this, then it's embarrassing, isn't it? Anyway, Alan couldn't accept such a result, let alone. In this battle, Alan has been keenly aware that it seems to be different, or rather, as time goes by, his strength is improving. Same. And he is getting closer and closer to the level of that monster. Wu Wei Wei let out a sigh of turbid air, and the flames burning around him calmly said, I can feel it. The distance from monsters like you is getting closer and closer. Obviously, the distance to the level of your monsters is getting closer and closer. Sooner. Bai Luoluo. Mori didn't say anything, he knew that since 890, he couldn't leave Alan. Although he had constructed a huge forest distance, it was impossible to determine whether he could leave Alan. Dragon Fist. Alan suddenly rose into the sky and threw a punch, saying interestingly, because of this fight is over. Goodbye. 35. Ha ha ha. This fist fell, and Alan's figure disappeared instantly, as if it had never appeared. What kind of perception? What kind of observation hockey? Even if it is peeping into the future, at this moment, everything as calm was restored, all this. It was as if it had never happened before. That's it. Everything disappeared without a trace, as if nothing had ever appeared. Under such circumstances, Alan's figure disappeared, and Sen suddenly put his hands together. Destroy. 35. Boom. Boom. With this deafening roar, the terrifying force instantly covered the surrounding area, which was a devastating blow. Seriously. Sen didn't know if it hurt Alan, but Sen must do this. When this person rejects himself, then the result is already doomed. No effect at all. Really. Sen frowned slightly, he didn't feel any of the blows had that kind of real feeling, or rather, failed. As Sen recovered the fruit ability, everything was extremely silent. The soldiers around were waiting for orders. They didn't say a word, as if they didn't see anything. Sen calmly ordered, arrest. No matter what, Brother Edward must be arrested. These brothers are not allowed to leave the Red Line alive. Yes. Following Sen's order, everyone started to act again, and this time the movement was sharper. Sen turned his head, he did not continue to join the battlefield, because it was meaningless at all, that's it. Even if Sen continues to join the battlefield, it is unrealistic to want to stop it. Alan's ability is too special, even to say. Alan's ability, in the end, is impossible for people to know, this is the strangest thing matter. Therefore, Sen needs to have a good chat with the people above. Rather than discussing the arrest of Alan, it is better to analyze Alan carefully. This is the most important thing, and this is also the most fundamental thing. As Sen left, Alan's figure had completely disappeared without a trace. All of these, as if the curtain had come to an end like this, everything was over. P.S. 5,000 word chapter. Daily 6 updates. Second update. Please subscribe. Please customize. Please collect. Chapter 123. Goodbye. The last gift. Search. Search. Alan's speed is extremely fast, like teleportation in the sky, rabbit charm, snake charm, chicken charm, the magical power of the three charms is perfectly displayed. Some spells are getting more and more. But Alan still avoids using multiple spells at the same time. The reason is very simple. The magical power of spells is hedging. In other words, it is almost the same for ordinary people to use 2 spells at the same time. If they use more spells, then the human body is unbearable. Although Alan said that the system of the owner of the Holy Master, plus the magic of fire, is still very rare, but now it is completely different. After Alan has the tiger charm, under the effect of yin and yang balance, of course. It is the perfect development of the power of the spell. That's the root of everything, and that's why Alan's strength has been greatly improved. Obviously, the overall strength has not been improved, but the strength he exerts has become completely different. Alan pursued Kaido's breath, but went straight into the distance. The speed was too fast. Almost instantly, he had already returned to the place. Kaido, who was carrying a mace, turned around abruptly, and then said, Big brother. Is that you? That's right. The owner of Kaido and Sen almost have very similar intuition. It is a super intuition like the instinct of a beast, and such a terrifying super intuition is the most terrifying feeling. The power and benefits brought are the most terrifying, precisely because in this way, Kaido's observation haki is also very fast. In the future, there are only 3 people who truly have the observation haki who peeks into the future. Katakuri, Luffy, and Kaido have reached the level of peeping into the future. As for the others, no matter whether they should have this level observation haki, but these 3 are the only ones that are clearly on display. Of course, this is just a statement, but this also proves from the side how amazing Kaido's talent is. Who? Big brother. Kaido carried the mace, and said seriously, Big brother. The things that should be dealt with are almost dealt with, and basically everything that can be obtained has already been obtained. Alan's figure appeared, and he took out the permanent pointer and said, the permanent pointer has also been obtained, it is not a big problem. It is not a big problem. That's good. Kaido nodded and continued. Big brother. Next, shall we leave immediately? 35. Leave. Do not. Do not. The corners of Alan's mouth grinned, and he said grimly, according to the time, there are about 10 minutes left. Wouldn't it be bad if we just left? 35. Worororo. Sure enough. 39. Brother, you are almost exactly what I think. Kaido also has such a crazy and hideous smile. Joke. How could it be possible to leave like this? If you leave like this, you will be very sorry for yourself. The chance of coming to the red line to make a scene this time is almost a slim chance. Just kidding, do you want something like this to happen next time? That really means that the 5 elders collectively have become idiots, otherwise, such a thing is almost impossible, it is unrealistic. Humph. A smile appeared. Brothers Alan and Kaido had already started plundering again, that's what they said. It's hard to come here once, if you don't get enough money to leave. That's too embarrassing. Not to mention, in such a situation, then, what will be the next result? This is a very interesting thing. Search. Licking the corner of his mouth slightly, the figures of the 2 brothers have gradually disappeared. Only, all this was just the beginning, the 2 brothers continued to plunder, while on the other side, following Sen's order, the army and air force acted at the same time. There are 3 armies under the world government. Marine is the head, the army is the second, and the air force is the last. But, if you understand one thing is that the strength of the 3 armies is extremely strong, although the Marine is the strongest, but the standard 1 commander and 3 generals exist, and although it is said that because of various marshals, the army and the air force basically very few of the 3 admiral are located above the red line. They all have their own very important tasks with each other. In order to complete their tasks, they will almost never be located in the red line, but you must not underestimate these guys. The 3 handsomes are all located in the red line. Therefore, under such circumstances, the strength of the entire red line is still extremely strong, whether it is CP0, known as the strongest shield of celestial dragons, or the Knights of God, the most terrifying law enforcer under the 5 elders, or in other words, including other hidden units. These, you have to admit. All, in short, with Sen's order, the situation of the entire red line has become completely different. A large number of elites are immediately similar, and the reason why they have not acted just now is very simple. They are soldiers, so, what is the goal of the soldiers? What is it? Just obey orders. Worth to talk about. Alan doesn't hate all the people on this sea. There is no hate to say that although the 2 sides are enemies, they stand on different positions. But the most annoying thing is 2 people. It can't be said to be disgusting. Kazuki Oden, this idiot, really looks down on it. This guy is purely a brain problem, and the second person is Kirby. Compared to Sakazuki's absolute justice, Kirby is pure cerebral palsy. Why don't you continue to die? What? You are Marine. How could an idiot like you say such a thing? Seriously. If it wasn't for Kebi's teacher being Garp, and Sengoku's retirement, the 2 are old comrades in arms, Sakazuki needs to consider some affection. The reason, it is estimated that it will directly kill Kebi. This guy definitely has a problem with his head. His head is already an idiot. In such a situation, you must admit that there is such an idiot in this world. Bag. Of course, this Alan has nothing to do with it. If it happens in the future, just deal with it and it's over, after all. It's just a piece of garbage, it doesn't matter. Clap clap clap. Snapped. Walking on the road, Akoku's expression was very calm, and he said indifferently, everyone. Take all the treasures, really. Be more serious for Laozi. Yes, a large number of pirates are carrying very terrifying treasures, which Akoku snatched from the city of gods. And, this time, Akoku is using the demon fruit power of Silver Axe. Paramesha through fruit ability. The ability is very simple. Open 2 holes, and they can be linked to each other, and this is the reason why Silver Axe can always escape safely, and this time. In order to obtain more treasures, the 3 allies will use this the able-bodied lent to Akoku, and let Akoku use it to carry the treasure. Besides, John's subordinate also has an ability, that is Paramesha transparent fruit ability. And the effect of this ability naturally does not need to be said, Silver Axe initially relied on this devil fruit ability, and thus easily entered the city of gods, destroyed from the inside, got a lot of treasures. It can be said, for this action, Akoku can be said to be very well prepared, or even to say. Basically, the situation that can be considered has been considered, or even to say. If there is a dangerous situation, Akoku will directly pass through those who pass through the fruit ability leave. Anyway, I can definitely escape, this is Akoku's idea, it can be said. Akoku's preparation is quite adequate, and the average person is really inferior. Big brother Akoku, everything is moved away, are you still going to snatch? Seriously, the pirates at this moment are the true loyalists, otherwise. They are all shocked. These treasures are too terrifying, if they can kill people and steal them. Pity. These little brothers don't even have such an idea. Except for this guy Shiki, if the others have not even had some die-hard loyalists for so many years, then it is really better to die. You say Shiki that guy. That's just a guy with cerebral palsy. Not that weird. No need. Akoku shook his head calmly and said, this is the end of it. You guys leave immediately. If I get a call, you guys will pick me up immediately. Do you hear me? Yes. 35. Big brother Akoku. No problem. One by one, the pirates nodded earnestly, including those with the ability to pass through the fruit and those with the ability to see the transparent fruit. As they left, Akoku murmured, the result should be that it is almost the last time. 99. Did that guy Alan make it? And, after thinking a little about many problems, Akoku shook his head, so to speak. You can be greedy, but never be greedy. Remember, if there are any problems, then it is trouble. Even a little problem, then the result will be fatal, and this is the most terrifying. Therefore, Akoku is very serious about all of this, everything is kept at this level, and there will be no problems. Baloric indifferently dealt with all the people in front of him. For Baloric, these people are simply not worth mentioning. In particular, the current Baloric has almost developed devil fruit to the level of awakening, and after developing it to such an extent, how strong is it? In fact, it is self-evident. It can be said, Baloric's strength has been greatly improved, there is no doubt about it. In particular, the devil fruit of the phantom species is very special. If it is really fully developed, it will be the most terrifying. Besides, the smile fruit produced by the phantom beast is also very amazing, of course. This does not refer to the smile fruit produced by the garbage of Caesar, but refers to the production of Vegapunk. Look at Momonosuke, a person who eats the smile fruit can exert a power so similar to Kaido. Does this mean that as long as he develops well for a few years, he can have the same power as Kaido? This is outrageous. Yamato worships Kazuki Oden. Momonosuke looks like Kaido. Think carefully. It seems to be almost there. Snapped. Turning around, Baloric left not far away, and whispered calmly, you have already got what you deserve, and you can leave now. 99. Of course, from the outside, Baloric seems to have nothing the same, and this strange feeling is the most strange thing, where are all things put? This is something no one knows. And another thing is that Baloric's strength is really terrifying, even a power like an evil spirit. Can such power be exerted? No one knows. Baloric Redfield. Hands on. 39. Yes. The elite troops of the army and air force arrived, and they looked at the General Baloric who didn't care at all, but immediately launched a siege, but unfortunately. Under the strength of Baloric, the offensive of these people is simply not worth it. Just mention it, it's not a level opponent at all. If that's the case, if Baloric cares, it's the strangest thing, right? Snapped. It was easy to get rid of all the people, and Baloric continued to walk towards the assembly point, quietly whispering, everything is almost the same, and this guy Alan should have returned. If Akoku still needs to think, if Alan can come back alive. Then, according to Baloric's understanding of Alan, this is already beyond doubt. It should be said, there is no need to doubt it at all. The reason is very simple. Alan's strength is really there, is there any need to doubt it? It's like a joke, this is something that does not need to be doubted at all, it is too simple. Under such circumstances, and Baloric only needs to return to the meeting point. The result of everything is already in front of you, and naturally there is no problem. Worororo. Kaido let out a loud roar and said excitedly, big brother. This time is really great. With such a treasure. Next, Chanos, we will definitely have no problems. What? Alan was also very excited. So many gold and silver treasures and devil fruit. And, this time, they were all thrown on the Rocks Pirate's head. This is indeed very good. After all, Rocks Pirate is about to disband, and at this time, it is indeed the most appropriate thing to handle all this in the name of Rocks Pirate, as for other times. Sorry, everything else is simply meaningless. With the dissolution of Rocks Pirate, that's when. The whole sea will be reshuffled and everything will be different. Alan. 99. Both Akoku and Baloric looked at the two of them indifferently, while Alan looked at the two of them and said with a wide open mouth, it looks like. You two are very dissatisfied when you see that Laozi is still alive. 9. Baloric just said lightly, Alan, you can only be defeated in my hands. Akoku shrugged and said, seriously. If you die, it's not a bad thing. It's a pity. If you don't die, it would be quite interesting for this sea. Akoku, John, Silver Axe and Alan are all enemies, but in the end, they are one of the trendsetters of this era, if they don't even have such a spirit. That would be too embarrassing. P.S. 5,000 word chapter. Daily 6 updates. Third update. Please subscribe. Please customize. Please collect. Alan smiled and waved. Don't say such a very strange thing. Ha ha ha, Shion. Well, listening to Akoku's words, Alan laughed arrogantly, then waved his hand and said, okay. It's okay. Everything is ready, and we can leave. However, before that, we still have to give each other prepare the last gift. Since I came here, of course I want to be famous in the world. 5. Even though, well, 35 Chapter 124. Attention of the Commander-in-Chief of the Three Armies. Discussion of the Five Elders. Dragon Fist. Heat. Blood River. Destruction. 35. The four powers fell at the same time, accompanied by this earth-shattering roar, as if they were going to destroy everything. At this time, the powerhouses who finally arrived, but there was no way to continue their pursuit, and is caught in a very embarrassing situation, they cannot pursue. The reason is very simple, if they continue their pursuit, the red line will be plunged into great destruction. Of course, they chose to defend. Ha ha ha. Alan floated up with the three of them, and laughed interestingly. Red line. Goodbye, the next time we meet again, I will not be the current I am. Ha ha ha. 35. With this crazy laughter, Alan and the three people disappeared completely in an instant. Everyone was silent. When they looked at everything in front of them, their faces were ashen, which can be said to be very ugly. Bastard. The anger has been burning uncontrollably, and the terrible flames are burning frantically. But they can only continue to deal with the follow-up without saying a word. There is no way. Everything that follows needs to be dealt with. And with their departure, everything seems to have come to an end. Snapped. Snapped. Exclamation mark. The huge door was opened. It was a very spacious room, and in this room, Sen walked in step by step, bowed slightly, and respectfully said, 5 gentlemen. A voice came, and said lightly, Sen, what happened to Red Line, how do you feel? These 5 people are the highest authority of the world government, 5 elders. Wearing a black suit, white curly hair, a fluffy white beard, a flat hat, a scar on the left side of his face, and curly hair 5 elders. Wearing a dark blue suit, with long straight white hair, a long beard, and 5 elders with long hair. Wearing a dark red suit, no bow tie, blonde hair, blonde beard, a scar on the chest, blonde 5 elders. Wearing a dark green suit, bald, with a splayed beard, a birthmark on the forehead, bald 5 elders. Wearing a white robe, bald head, and glasses. The only man in the 5 elders who doesn't wear a suit and has a beard. And holding a samurai sword in his hand, holding the sword 5 elders. 5 of them. It is the owner of the highest power in this world. 5 of them run the world. As for the result, no one knows it. Sen nodded 890 and said, 5 gentlemen, although the Red Line incident has brought the world government a disgrace, but this is nothing. The most important thing is one of the people who attacked this time. Edward Allen. The blonde 5 elders said indifferently. Sen, you would put so much importance on a person, this person seems to be very good. 35. The 5 elders were very calm towards Sen, and there seemed to be no fluctuations in their words. That feeling, it should be said, that the two sides were actually friends of the same level, not as if they were reprimanding Sakazuki. This is also a very normal thing. As the commander-in-chief of the 3 armed forces, he is basically second only to the 5 elders in terms of status, and Sen's ability and status are so outstanding in all aspects, this is not a strange thing. Yes. 99. Edward Allen. This is an extremely capable person. In all aspects of this person, if he is willing to join the world government, even if he asks the old man to give up his position as the commander-in-chief of the 3 armies, the old man can accept it. Oh. The long-haired 5 elders nodded slightly and said, it can be seen that Sen, you value him very much. Yes. Because of that. 99. Sen said seriously. I think this man needs to be taken seriously. If you are too careless and let this man show different strengths, then everything will be troublesome. 99. All right. The curly-haired 5 elders said calmly. We already know about this, but Alan's growth still takes time. How is his ability collected? Sen nodded, but did not continue to say anything, and said, the collection of abilities is very perfect. From the abilities that are displayed now, Alan has the ability to manipulate flames, cyclops, invisibility, strength, speed, floating and so on. Wait for other abilities. Just from the point of view of ability, it is very special. But it is certain that Alan's ability is based on the flame as a whole, but it still makes people feel strange. What kind of special ability is this? Bald-headed 5 elders pondered. With such a special ability, among all the devil fruits, it must be the demon fruit power of the Eudemons. Indeed, only those with the ability of the phantom beast species are so difficult to deal with. Yes, the 5 elders all agree with each other. With these special abilities of Alan, there is only one possibility, and that is the devil fruit AGFJ, which is an unknown eudemon species. Besides, I am afraid there is no other devil fruit. This is for sure. Therefore, after careful consideration, it is very clear, in fact, from the attitude of the five elders, it can be seen that the five elders attach the most importance to the eudemons. It is undeniable that the power displayed by the eudemons, if it is too comprehensive to develop. Whether it is Buddha fruit, Phoenix fruit, Blue Dragon fruit, Orochi fruit with 8 lives, Vampire fruit, or Nine-Tails Fox fruit. All in all, there are too many abilities of various devil fruits. Because of this, eudemons are so precious. Devil fruits of this level are too special. If you are not vigilant, it will be very impressive, that's what matters. Human fruit, eudemons, Nika form. This devil fruit is the devil fruit that the five elders have always valued the most, of course. The importance of this devil fruit is beyond doubt, and it is precisely because of this devil fruit that eudemons are also known as the important devil fruit is also known as the most powerful devil fruit. Other than that, After thinking for a while, Sen shook his head and said, look at it for the time being. It is indeed certain that Alan's ability is an illusory beast, but five gentlemen, the most important thing about this man is not just devil fruit, but also more. It's his ability and his madness. He has the madness beyond the rocks, and definitely has the potential to surpass the rocks. He is very special. The knife-wielding five elders spoke calmly for the first time. Sen, we already know about this matter, and we will pay more attention to this man Alan. However, before that, what needs to be dealt with the most is the Valley of the Gods. The loss of that permanent pointer, means that this time the banquet in the Valley of the Gods will become very unsafe. 35. Yes. 99. Mori nodded and said, in that case, the best way is to send personnel to block in the Valley of God, if nothing else happens. This will also be the last action of Rock's Pirates Uzi, after all. The entire Rock's Pirate the limit has been reached, and it is not easy to continue. You're right. For Sen's statement, the five elders also agree. Same. The problem with the Rock's Pirate, basically anyone with a discerning eye can see it, in that case. Would a character like the five elders not see a problem? That's simply impossible. In other words, it's not at all real things. Since it can be seen, then the result is naturally beyond doubt. The long-haired five elders said calmly, at that time, the situation above the sea will return to the original chaotic situation. However, this is not a bad thing. Such a chaotic situation is an important factor for better control of the new world. A good thing. Yes. 35. The curly-haired five elders nodded approvingly. But, in fact, the five elders underestimated a little bit. In the past, pirates were generally garbage that was not a high-level conqueror's hockey of Grandmaster, but now it is different. This is an era where many heroes are born, and the guys of this era, one by one all are like monsters. Actually, it's no wonder that the five elders didn't think about it. It's not a strange thing. They treat the high-level conquerors hockey like garbage that can be used easily. Under such circumstances, do you think will they care? Obviously. This is almost impossible. Because of this situation, the result is that there is no need to say more. They selectively don't care, and it is precisely because of this lack of care that it brings about a huge problem. They forgot, if there is no high-level conquerors hockey, then with the death of Rocks, there is no doubt about it. But don't forget, the current pirates, they are all owners of high-level conquerors hockey, then what will the strength be? In fact, it is self-evident. Because this is no longer a battle of the same level. All right, Sen is going to deal with this matter properly and dispatch the three armies. No matter what it is, there can be no problems in the Valley of the Gods. Yes, Sen nodded respectfully, but before leaving, he still said seriously, five gentlemen, I still hope that you will pay attention to this man Edward Allen, he is very special. If you underestimate this man, in the future it will be very troublesome. Fail. 35. Looking at the five elders in front of him, Sen respectfully faded away. And with Sen's retreat, the five elders are also thinking about something, as if they are thinking about a problem. Among them, the long-haired five elders are thinking about this, it seems. Sen really attaches great importance to this man named Alan Pirates. It's undeniable. The blonde five elders also agreed. Alan is really good enough, he is perfect in every aspect, strength, geography, ability, every aspect is the same, as long as he is given time, it is very simple to grow up. After the destruction of the Rock's Pirate, he will be greatly improved, and in a short period of time, it should reach an astonishing level. 35. But, he's still not from the D clan. Yes, the discussion between the five elders was calm and shook their heads. For them, if they were not members of the D family, then others are all meaningless things. If so, do they need more speak? Actually, there is no need to say more. For the five elders, if it is not for the people of the D family, on this sea, over the years, I don't know how many heaven's favored sons have been born, and every one of the heavenly favored sons has been born. They all know the results of it. These days of pride are simply not worth mentioning, they are too weak. In other words, these days pride are simply not worth mentioning, there is no need to take it too seriously, after all. These so-called as long as the chosen one is not from the D family, then it is impossible for the world government to cause any trouble. In this case, these so-called favored sons naturally do not need to be taken seriously. This is the idea of 5 elders. All right, there is no need to discuss Alan's affairs. As long as it is not a member of the D family, it is fine to send someone to watch it a little bit, and there will be no problems. The 5 elders also nodded indifferently, they didn't take these people seriously at all. But, again, it is precisely because of this attitude that everything has a huge problem. This is the most fundamental and most terrifying reason. World government. Or, for the 5 elders, for so many years, only the D family will cause trouble, and they have long been accustomed to the trouble of the D family. As for the other so-called favored children, it is not worth mentioning at all. It's like a battle between gods and demons, and you are just an ordinary person, do you still need to take it seriously? It's just like a joke. It's not necessary at all. Because you are just a bunch of garbage. That's what the 5 elders think, just. What they don't know is that the garbage is also evolving and becoming extremely terrifying. Under such circumstances, everything naturally becomes completely different. But, this era, the long-haired 5 elders pondered, the era of the rocks has passed, and the so-called D family is still meaningless. Good. Next. One of the better Ds is Marine's Monkey D Garp. Pirates Gall D Roger. For these 2 people, the 5 elders seem to be thinking about something, and their expressions are very calm, and they are full of indifference. And as time goes by, a moment later, the blonde 5 elders continued, the identity of Garp is very special. He will only be Marine's person, which is not bad. He is also the most suitable thing to be the benchmark of justice. Indeed, as for Roger's words, this man really needs attention. 35. If nothing else, he'll be the man to take Rock's place. Need to be vigilant. 35. The other 5 elders were thinking about Roger and Garp, but nobody cared about Alan, Newgate, Kaido, Linlin, and Shiki, Barorik, and all. In their view, these people were simply not worth mentioning. D's family, always the biggest problem, everyone else. It's all rubbish. In that case, then of course you don't need to pay attention. If that's the case, just pay attention to Roger. That's right, 66 inches seconded, 55, seconded, seconded. Seconded. The 5 elders all agreed, just. What they didn't know was how much they were paying for this idea, and with the new age to come. That would be life, the price is not exaggerated, it is too terrifying. Or, next, in this era of giants and monsters, everything becomes extremely terrifying. Whether you want it or not, what you don't need to admit is that the times have begun to change, and this is a completely different era from what it used to be. P.S. 5,000 word chapter. Daily 6 updates. 4th update. Please subscribe. Please customize. Please collect. Chapter 125. Big victory. Rock's pirate shakes the world again. So-so. One after another silhouettes flashed across in an instant, as if it disappeared without a trace, giving people a very wonderful and very strange feeling, and all of this passed in an instant, everything it's too fast. Snapped. The 4 figures landed on an island, and the submarine that was waiting here left after picking up the 4 people. Next, of course, needless to say, as the battle was over, Captain Rocks also slipped away. Although the casualties are indeed very heavy, but if you say there is a big problem, actually, this matter there really isn't much of a problem, as long as anyone who understands this matter can see it. Rock's pirate, although a lot of people died, but there are only a part of the ordinary crew members. As for the elite and cadres, there is absolutely no death. Because of this, the entire battlefield also came to an end. This time, it can be said to be a big victory for the Rock's pirate. Anyone who is not an idiot can see how terrifying the strength of the Rock's pirate is, and this kind of battle is really the most terrifying. Looking at everything in front of her, Eve thought for a while, she slowly came to the bottom of the room, and said softly, Adam. Eve. Adam opened his eyes weakly, and whispered calmly in his eyes, what happened? Eve frowned slightly and said seriously, things have changed a lot, Rock's pirate attacked Red Line and won, but I don't know what was taken away from it. 359. Obviously, although the story of the Red Line is hidden, it is still known to a top-level kingdom like Adam Kingdom. And, just as Alan had guessed, the old man lying here is Adam, and all the created atoms are his most perfect bodies. As long as they can be cultivated well, they can exert great power. Adam seemed to want to do something, but he couldn't do it at all, and whispered softly, the power of Rock's pirate is more and more terrifying, and if it continues like this, everything will happen next. Earth-shaking change. Yes, Adam, what should we do next? Eve is also asking softly, it is undeniable. Rock's pirate rules the entire new world, it is still easy to say for the time being. However, if there is a problem next, then everything is a huge problem. Even say, the impact of the entire Rock's pirate will sweep the world, after all. When the behemoth that rules the world suddenly disappears, it is natural for the five elders that the entire world is under control again, but in Adam, seems like Eve, an old fellow who has also lived a long time, but it's not so. Their husband and wife are very clear that the next world will fall into an abnormally huge turmoil. It is completely predictable, the turmoil of the whole world. Next. What kind of state will the world fall into? Therefore, the kingdom of Adam is no longer safe, because when the three Edward brothers forcibly took a precious tree Adam here, it has been proved that the strength of the kingdom of Adam is not invincible. Sometimes. That's it. When the golden body is broken, what will be the result? At this point, Adam, a man who has lived cautiously for so many years, is very clear. After a short silence, Adam calmly said, Eve, you are going to arrange the test items to prepare for the test. I can't continue to waste time, otherwise. With a slight sigh, Adam is very clear that if he continues to waste time, then, when everything is dealt with, at that time, Adam's kingdom will become very dangerous. When Eve heard this, she hurriedly said, Adam, the body of the test subject cannot bear your soul at all, if. Adam said calmly, I know that as a soul fruit person, I have the ability to absorb souls, maintain my own soul, and transfer souls, but no matter what. I can only weaken my soul, so that I can enter in this body. So, 99. Eve was very nervous, while Adam shook his head and said, there is no time to continue to struggle, I need to master this body in the shortest time, but it is enough, although it can't achieve amazing strength, but slightly more than some marine admiral is still no problem, and a young body, I am also looking forward to it. Good. 99. Feeling Adam's emotional changes, Eve nodded. As Eve left, Adam murmured, Rock's pirate, resounding throughout the world again. And this time, it will be very dangerous. If it is not handled properly, the price will be paid. For me, everything is worth it. It's different, the world is changing, and to survive in this changed world, I need to make a choice number 7. Adam's voice was very soft, but the soul who had lived for a long time understood a lot. He knew that he wanted to live, or rather, if he wanted to ensure the normal operation of Adam's kingdom, he had to have a younger body. It's not a body with similar strength to Rock's but can't exert it at all, but a real body that can be converted into instant combat power, otherwise. Everything is meaningless. Sighing again, Adam began to weaken his soul, and it was time for him to prepare himself. Soul fruit. Ling fruit. Soul fruit. These 3 devil fruits are very similar to the 3 devil fruits, and what Adam holds is the soul fruit. It is through this devil fruit that he maintains his own body immortality through special means. Survive. It can be said, all the devil fruits related to the soul are almost all the devil fruits with the same bug. These 3 devil fruits are so scary. Soul, time, space. These types of devil fruit, no matter which one they are very terrifying, like a bug-like devil fruit. The kingdom of Adam was in deep thought with the news of the victory of the Rock's pirate. This news spread almost all over the world, and the whole world was plunged into an extremely terrifying chaos. Once, although Rock's pirate said that it had attacked naval headquarters and defeated naval headquarters, it is absolutely terrifying enough in terms of strength, but it did not take action against Grand Line and other countries in the world. As for you to wreak havoc on New World. Joke. That is New World, what does it have to do with Laozi? But, now it's different. They actually killed the Grand Line, and then destroyed 10 countries. This kind of situation, if you don't think it's outrageous, it's the most strange thing. It really makes people don't know what to say. Naturally, fear reverberates on everyone's body, and this is the most terrifying thing. And this kind of fear may be incomprehensible to outsiders, and all countries are in danger for a while. It can be said, after this battle, Rock's pirates' reputation is once again resounding throughout the world. And, for the cosmopolitan, Grand Line countries, they are not listening to it like they are watching the fun, but the real I feel that the danger is on my side. And Rock's pirate doesn't seem to be very far away from me, but something that can come to me anytime, anywhere, at this moment. That terrifying power is really too terrifying. Snapped. Simon sighed slightly. His face was very ugly, he quietly looked into the distance. Simon was very clear. What will happen next? He murmured. Is everything like this after all? He sighed again. This time the loss is not really big. The losses on both sides are not big, or in other words, there is almost no big loss, after all. Rox is purely here to make trouble, just to attract people over. Of course, it is impossible to really desperately. But, that's what caused the most headaches, and the Rox pirate retreated again, which is no exaggeration for Marine's Majesty almost plummeted. Headache. Rubbing his eyebrows, Simon sat down. At this moment, the old man remained silent, not knowing what to say. The whole person fell into a kind of silence, and a feeling of silence echoed around him. Simon. Mr. Sen. 35. As the door was pushed open, Simon was slightly stunned when he looked at the person who appeared at the door, and then said softly, Mr. Sen, I'm so sorry. I'm ashamed of you again. No need. 35. Sen raised his hand to stop Simon's embarrassment, and said very calmly, I am very clear about your situation here, because of this. The old man understands how painful your heart is. Seriously, yes. This time the Rock's move can be said to be very fast, and they are prepared for everything, and the red line is also invaded, you know. I see. Simon naturally knew about this matter, nodded clearly, and didn't say much. Sen continued. Alan, Kaido, Barorik, Akoku, 4 people rushed to the red line, and they freed the slaves. It caused confusion, but the purpose was very clear, that is to go to the Valley of the Gods forever. Pointer. 9. What? Simon, of course, was very clear about what the Valley of the Gods represented. After a little thought, he said in astonishment, if I remember correctly, 3 months later. 0. For flowers. Good. Sen nodded and said, 3 months later, the banquet in the Valley of the Gods is about to begin. If nothing else, the purpose of the Rock's pirate is the celestial dragons in the Valley of the Gods. At this time, the interior and exterior of the Rock's pirate are all yes, there will be an ultimate, and the biggest contradiction will be the ultimate. Listening to Sen's words, Simon nodded again and again, and immediately understood what it meant, and it was very clear. What the other party meant. For a while, Simon's expression was very solemn, he naturally knew thinking, Mr. Mori, if this is the case, destroying the Rock's pirate in the Valley of the Gods is the best chance. Good. Mori nodded and said, I will arrange for the army and air force to join the battlefield at the same time, with only one goal to destroy the Rock's pirate, the man Rocks must die. Remember, anyone can live, but Rocks must die. I see. Simon also nodded sharply. Of course he knew what this order meant. Rocks was too crazy, and this madness really threatened the world government. Actually, it can't be said that Marine's people are all dogs for the world government. Marine has almost no recruits from the outside world. In the future, due to lack of manpower, the world conscription will be carried out, purely because Guion and the bonus are not directly qualified for Admiral's strength. So the world conscription was carried out, which was the only time conscription was carried out from the outside world. The result of this is that there are people at the top who are not trained by the world government, otherwise. Generally speaking, they are trained since childhood, when they were a few years old, or when they were in their teens. Sakazuki, Kuzan, Pulsolino. Wouldn't anyone really think they joined Marine in the first installment? Of course not. Many of them are about 10 years young, that is, they have already been included in the Reserve Academy to study, and they learn cultural courses and lay a solid foundation. When they are about the same age, they enter the Marine Academy for systematic study. That's why. The reason why Marine is the world's hegemon, the reason is here, their system is perfect enough, everything has a root cause from the beginning to the root, and that's why. It will be such a root cause. Smile. Wild pasture. Are they strong enough? Enough. But they will never be able to become the Marine Marshal, the next Marshal, either Pelusolino, if the new Marine Admiral, absolutely cannot be one of them, for a very good reason simple, that's Marine's problem. Because of this, Marine obeying orders and the world government is also very normal, to put it bluntly. Even since he was a child, he was almost brainwashed. Sengoku once said, are you questioning the justice of the world government? Actually, this sentence has already represented everything, to put it bluntly, it is so. Simon. 35. Quote. Sen looked at Simon and sighed slightly, are you ready to die? What? Simon also nodded and said, Mr. Sen, you also know. I can't forget everything in the past. So many years have passed, and today. Everything has come to this point, I just want it's time to make a final decision with Rocks. 39. 33. Sen also nodded silently. Among all the juniors, Simon is the most outstanding. As long as the Rocks pirate is destroyed, then it is time for him to retire. This is already an age. Should be handed over to Simon. But Sen can see that Simon is actually ready to die. He doesn't care about everything else at all. Once his teacher and his companions died in front of him, but he survived, and now Simon just wants to take Rocks away. Life. Just leave it like this. That's how it all worked out. Don't think about it too much, as for being the commander-in-chief. Simon wasn't interested in the first place. He wasn't interested in any of this, he just wanted it to end. In the end, sighing silently, Sen also stood up and said, Simon, make all preparations. If there is more, the old man doesn't want to say more. Thank you. 35. P.S. 5,000 word chapter. Daily 6 updates. 5th update. Please subscribe. Please customize. Please collect. Mr. Sen. 99. Before. This is my destiny. 35. Hehe. Facing Simon's thanks, Sen just shook his head silently, and then left, and looking at Sen who was leaving, Simon also said softly, Mr. Sen, I know your trust in me. It's just that all this has been done. It's impossible. For me, everything that has happened is simply unforgettable, everything. It's just in the eyes. Simon stood by the window, and a gradually crazy look appeared in his eyes. Chapter 126, Duplicate Fruit. Gamenio. Ha ha ha. Sitting in the study, Alan looked at Captain Rocks interestingly, and said with a smile, Captain Rocks. But it's really dangerous. Who would have thought that this thing is actually in the office of the Commander-in-Chief of the world government? But I just can't get out alive. Oh ha ha ha, Rox said boldly. Boy, didn't you still come out alive with a permanent pointer? Well, 99. Indeed. Alan shrugged, but didn't say anything, just lit a cigarette. A puff of blue smoke exhaled very calmly. Captain Rox, nonsense means that you don't need to say more. This is your permanent pointer. For the rest of this time, I will have a good rest. 5. No problem. Looking at the permanent pointer thrown over, Rox took the permanent pointer and didn't care about Alan's thoughts at all. Gone. Gone. What? It's really tiring. He stretched comfortably. Alan was a little active, and then the whole person also walked out of the room, looking very calm, as if he was not interested in what was going to happen next. Valley of the Gods. Well, it doesn't matter. No matter what happens in the Valley of the Gods, for Alan, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. In fact, to put it plainly, that's the final glory of Rock's pirate, really. Brilliant in the final sense. Woo. A puff of smoke blew out. Alan left, and looking at the back of Alan leaving, Rox seemed to be thinking about something, and after a while he shook his head slightly, and said calmly, it's really a helpless one. The little devil. But it's really a terrifying talent. At this age, it has already reached such a level. 10 years. No, maybe in 5 years, you will be able to reach the level of Laozi. Quote. Rox couldn't help but sigh. Alan's growth rate is too fast, it should be said. It's too scary. It even reached a level that makes people feel endless shock. This level is really not a joke. It's a real monster-like level. Alan's strength has improved too fast, and it has reached a very terrifying level. And this is Alan's terrifying strength. At this point, definitely not a joke. Oh ha ha ha. Rox, with a heroic laugh, said interestingly, seriously. I never dreamed that the sea in the future would be so interesting. The D family. Humph. The sea of the future doesn't necessarily belong to the D family. Maybe it belongs to someone else. Who knows? All in all, it's really interesting. Search. He licked the corner of his mouth slightly, and a terrifying light emerged from Rock's eyes. It was a ferocious light that looked like a ghost, and the pair of eyes were full of excitement and fun. Look, what will the future result be like? Seriously, rocks are not very clear, but rocks really feel very interesting. This sea is really too interesting. It makes people feel endless fun. Such a world. It's a pity. Man will come to an end after all. Otherwise. Oh ha ha ha. Rock's crazy but wild laughter seems to echo in everyone's ears, but some people can hear different feelings from this laughter. It is a kind of heroic twilight feeling. Big brother. 35. Uncle. 99. Big brother. After returning to his pirate ship, Alan heard shouts. Everyone quickly greeted them, and Newgate said directly, brother. Next, shall we leave directly? 35. Alan nodded and said, we can just leave, and the rest has nothing to do with us at all. No problem. Newgate nodded immediately, turned his head and shouted, leave now. No problem. 35. Daddy. 35. The pirates immediately started sailing away, and Bagley, Tiger, and others were all here, obviously. With the Rocks pirate back after the Grand Line War, it's not surprising that's it. Big brother. Kaido waved his hand, and then said casually, Big brother. You fought with that guy, the commander-in-chief of the Third Army, how do you feel? Logia Sensen Fruit ability, a monster with terrifying strength, compared to Captain Rocks. It's probably a little worse, but it's just a little bit, and the difference isn't too big. Listening to the elder brother's words, Newgate and Kaido were thinking about something. Newgate also sat down with his knees crossed and thought, if this is the case, the strength of the world government is indeed terrifying enough. Just a commander-in-chief of the 3 armed forces, he has such terrifying power. Alan said casually, don't underestimate the commander-in-chief of the 3 armies. Except for the 5 elders, he is probably the highest level person, the head of the Knights of God, the leader of the CP organization, and other than that, he is estimated to be able to work with. There are definitely very few people who are side by side with the commander-in-chief of the 3 armed forces. Of course, position doesn't necessarily just depend on strength, it may also depend on ability. However, people who can achieve this position are generally not too weak. Staring at Alan's words, everyone nodded seriously. This is true, after all. When you can reach that position, in fact, your status and strength are almost the same, even if the strength is not it's too strong, but it's definitely not too weak. After all, everyone is at this level. If you're too weak, it's impossible. However, Newgate also shook his head and said, brother. In this operation, I really felt it. Captain Rox's heroic twilight feeling really gives people a completely different feeling, as if he has left. It's the same at the end. 35. Alan nodded and said, actually, that's what I said. It's almost the same. Captain Rox has indeed come to an end. His life. What was the result? Who knows? 55. Indeed. Big brother. Newgate also stopped talking nonsense and asked directly, what's next? Alan said directly, It is very important to get back all the treasures that Kaido and I plundered first. Of course, the three brothers have no objection to this point, Kaido said with a big smile. Big brother. This time, you can go and see, but I got quite a lot of devil fruit, these guys are really rich. If I remember correctly, there are almost 20 devil fruits in total, which is definitely not a problem. 39. Oh who? 35. Sure enough. 35. It has to be red line. These guys are really rich, what a pity. We can't rob celestial dragons. Alan is also very interested, though. Mentioning this, he also smiled and shook his head. Kaido was stunned and asked, Big brother. Isn't that rubbish in Akoku going to the city of God? Why don't we also go to the city of God? Idiot. Alan shook his head and said, this time is really too short, if you really take action against the city of God. That's too much time wasted, for those arrogant guys. This time there is really no necessary, though. Next time, a few of us brothers can be the truth. Goo la la la. Worororo. When it came to this matter, the two brothers couldn't help laughing. That's true. Next time, the brothers can try it out in person. What will the result be? But it will be very exciting. A smile emerges involuntarily, while Alan is full of casual looks. Anyway, the brothers are all pirates. Do you have to come up with a picture of us being bright and just? Same bullshit. Since I'm a pirate, then I'll be crazy as a pirate. I'm not interested in these things at all, just kidding. Obviously as a pirate, do you do justice like Marine? Or according to the sentence, if this is the case, why should Laozi TM be a pirate? Why not directly as a Marine? It's just like bullshit, there's a good saying. As long as I'm bad enough and have no morals, you can't kidnap me. Anyway, Alan is such a person, and brothers are such people, to be honest. That's it. Woo. Breathing out a puff of smoke, Alan looked at a kid beside him, raised his eyebrows, and asked interestingly, who is this kid? Uncle. This kid also came over and scratched his head embarrassingly. He wore a mask similar to a chameleon and had a very long tongue. It felt like Perospero. Seriously, if it weren't for the long-tongued race, he would have been. Everyone thinks that people with such a long length are all people of the long-tongued tribe. For example, those who are tall, all of them are ridiculously tall. Are they all subspecies giants? That is, their ancestors have giant blood. Alan suddenly thought of this, don't say it. The possibility is still quite high, if you guessed correctly. It's not surprising that it was really like this in the past. Uncle. The kid nodded obediently, while Alan looked at the kid and asked thoughtfully, what's your name? The kid said respectfully, Uncle. My name is Carmenio. 35. Gamenio. Alan raised his eyebrows and seemed to be thinking about something, this character. How should I put it? It did not appear in the original book, but it was mentioned in some places, and it was a qualified penultimate, a monster with terrifying strength. According to records, it was originally a member of the Whitebeard Pirates, a replica fruit with the ability to replicate devil fruit. It is worth mentioning that the devil fruit, a copy fruit, does exist, but there are more or less restrictions. Because of this, Alan just looked at this little devil with a little thought, and said, second. This is you. Did you meet the kid? Ooh, Newgate laughed and said, brother. Isn't this a matter of course? When I was returning home, I happened to meet Carmenio. Carmenio has become Laozi's son. It's good too. Alan also nodded in agreement, and then asked, Gamenio. Have you had the Yoshiko wine? That, uncle. 39. Carmenio said obediently, I haven't drank the Yizi wine yet, and my father said that I need you and the third uncle to come back. The current Carmenio looks like he is only 7 or 8 years old, and he is also a kid. And at such an age, this look is also good, in fact. To put it bluntly, many people's ambitions are actually based on age. Grow up with growth, if it had undergone different changes in infancy. So, naturally, it is completely different, just like these admirals of Marine. Marshal. They are all the same, you let them change their environment, if they try to grow up as pirates. It is estimated that one is more crazy than one, after all, everyone is an orphan. What? Are you born righteous? This statement is pure nonsense. Or, it's just like a joke, no one is really righteous by birth, everyone is blank from birth, only because of the passage of time. That's it. Nice. Alan nodded with a smile, but said interestingly, Gamenio. Did you eat devil fruit? Devil fruit. 99. 39. Carmenio was stunned for a moment, then nodded immediately and said, Uncle. Before, I almost starved to death, so I ate a devil fruit, but my devil fruit seems to have no ability, I have never been able to. What abilities can be developed? Alan thought for a while and said, well, it should be similar to what I guessed, you try it. Touch the cock for more than 10 minutes, and then try. Okay, Uncle. 95. Brother. Both Carmenio and Newgate were a little confused. But Alan said so, and they all nodded. Kaido leaned over and asked curiously, brother. What's the situation? Alan waved his hand and said, I have an idea, I'm just going to try it out. 5. What? Listening to the elder brother's words, Kaido was a little confused and didn't quite understand what was going on. And, with the passage of time, 10 minutes is just a fleeting moment. When 10 minutes passed, everyone looked at Alan blankly, and Alan waved his hand and said very casually, "Second. Show Gamenio what you're capable of." This. Newgate was even more stunned by 5.9, but, after a brief period of stunnedness, he suddenly reflected something, as if he had thought of something, and looked at Carmenio in astonishment, as if he did not expect that Carmenio would actually it is the ability of this devil fruit. Think of it here. Newgate clenched his fist with one hand and smashed it directly into the air. Earthquake. Click. Click. The powerful force immediately spread out into the distance. The terrifying momentum seemed to devour everything. The force that erupted was so fast that the sea burst and the air shattered in an instant. Alan pointed at Carmenio and said, "Try it, this is your ability." "My ability." Quote. Carmenio said in a dazed way, "Uncle. What does this mean?" Alan said casually, "Just try it and you'll know. As to whether it can be successful, no one can know that." "Okay, Uncle." 5. Click. Click. Although Carmenio was stunned, he nodded honestly as a good boy. He also clenched a fist with one hand, imitating his father's appearance just now, and also punched into the air. Empty shock. Bagley, Tiger, Guillaume, Abel and others looked at the situation here curiously, as if they didn't quite understand what was going on. But, P.S. 5,000 word chapter. Daily 6 updates. 6th update. Please subscribe. Please customize. Please collect. At the next moment, a scene that shocked people's jaws appeared, and the air spread out around at a speed visible to the naked eye. Although it is said that the power is weakened by how much compared to the power of Newgate, but as long as you are not fools, you can see it. This is the power of shock fruit. Chapter 127. Rat spell, monkey spell, holy master template 100%. F*K. F*K. 35. What is this, Uncle? What? The children's eyes widened in confusion, and they were filled with endless shock, as if they couldn't believe what they saw. It's not that they can't believe it, it's really almost impossible to happen. Well known. There is only one devil fruit that exists at the same time. Only when the original one dies, will a new devil fruit appear. But now, the power of shock fruit has appeared on 2 people at the same time. I can't believe it at all. Thing. What? Alan nodded and said calmly. As I guessed, the devil fruit that Carmenio ate is Paramesha, the fruit replicator. Paramesha replicating fruit. Not to mention the little guys like Bagley, Tiger, Guillaume, and Abel, even Carmenio and Kaido are stunned, and they all look at the situation in front of them curiously, and then look away. In the body of Carmenio, for a while, it was full of daze and shock. Gamenio pointed to his astonishment and said, "Uncle. The devil fruit I ate is a replica fruit." "What?" Alan nodded, lit a cigarette, and said casually, "I have seen this devil fruit in the Devil Fruit Illustrated book, although there is no clear record, but the record above is also almost .35. This. Everyone was very at a loss and didn't understand what it meant. Alan continued, "Devil fruit basically has its own abilities. No matter what devil fruit it is, it will exert its own abilities. This is absolutely true. Undoubted thing. And, what kind of devil fruit doesn't have its own abilities? Actually, this is very special. There are only 2 kinds of devil fruit. The first one is the devil fruit in human form, the common species, and the devil fruit in human form. If this devil fruit were eaten by a human, it would just turn into a landlubber. But, if an animal eats it, it becomes an animal with a human IQ. Listening to the uncle's explanation, the little guys all sat down and obeyed obediently. Of course, there is another name for Renren fruit, common species, and human form, Renren fruit, eudemons, and common people. In the comparison of Chopper, compared to other eudemon species, Chopper said, "I knocked your mother." It's not surprising that Chopper is in this state. Look at what other people's fruits are, the Buddha type. Nika type. What about yourself? The common people type. Of course, this is just a joke. Alan continued to explain. The second type of devil fruit, which has no ability to eat it, is the Paramesha replica fruit. How should I put it? This is a very powerful devil fruit, but it's also a, very strange devil. That's it for fruit. 5. The limitation of duplicating fruit is that duplicating fruit can duplicate other demon fruit powers, but it cannot directly duplicate devil fruit. At the same time, it needs continuous contact for more than 10 minutes, otherwise, it cannot be duplicated at all. This, everyone immediately understood, darling. Sustained contact for more than 10 minutes. It's just like nonsense. On this dangerous sea, let others touch you for more than 10 minutes casually. Moreover, everyone is a man, right? Let others touch you for more than 10 minutes. Thinking of this situation, I can't help but shudder and shiver. It's really a strange feeling. Alan continued. Besides that, there are still many problems with duplicating fruits, this is just one of them, and secondly, those with the ability to duplicate fruits need to develop devil fruit by themselves, of course. This is fortunate to say, if the strength is strong people, the development of devil fruit is a small problem. The second point. When the ability person dies, the copied devil fruit will disappear. If the second child dies tomorrow, the shock fruit ability copied by Gamenio will disappear. Quote. Everyone couldn't help scratching their heads, which was very embarrassing. After all, on this dangerous sea, no one could guarantee that they would be able to live safely. If devil fruit suddenly disappeared, fine. If this was in the middle of a battle, I was fighting on my side, but on the other side, devil fruit disappeared. Didn't I just go to heaven? This possibility is simply very high. The third point is that the copy fruit can only copy 3 devil fruits at most, and the ability person itself cannot be removed. In other words, you can only wait for the original ability person to die. This is the fundamental reason. Woo. After saying this, Alan exhaled a puff of smoke and looked very calm. Ah, this. Quote. Everyone smacked their lips, and they always felt that there was a very strange feeling. You said that the copy fruit is not strong, right? Not right. This devil fruit is really strong. But if you say that this devil fruit is very strong, right? It doesn't seem right. I always feel that there is a problem somewhere. As a result, I fell into such a very strange situation. I always feel that something is not right, it seems to be very wrong. For a while, everyone is caught in a strange feeling, it seems to be very strong. But there is a problem with the feeling, as if an MMP is stuck in the throat, you say there is a problem. It seems that there is a problem. You say no problem. Feeling there still seems to be a problem. All in all, stuck in a very strange state, don't know what to say. He. Seeing this scene, Alan smiled casually, that's why. I'm the one who made Carmenio choose the second devil fruit, right? Carmenio, be careful in the future and don't touch others casually. The time is too long, otherwise if you copy the useless devil fruit, you will cry. 35. Uncle. 9. I see. Carmenio nodded obediently, while Alan continued, that's probably the case, hurry up and get our baby back. This is the most important thing, and everything else doesn't really mean much. Okay, Uncle. 99. Bagley said seriously. Uncle. It's already been prepared, you can rest assured. Bros. Come on. 35. Hurry up. Oh who. 99. With this deafening roar, the pirate ship galloped away into the distance. Soon, it was already at the position where Alan and Kaido stored the treasure in the sky. Kaido controlled the flame cloud and gradually fell down, and everyone carried a lot of treasure onto the boat. Brothers. Fun. Yes. Is that too much? The little guys are all shocked. Is there too much treasure in it? It has reached an unimaginable level. This number is too shocking. This is just a part of it. As more treasures were moved up, everyone was immediately numb from the initial shock to the end, including the new little guy Carmenio, who was directly numb. After all, money, to put it bluntly, everyone has it, but it's just a matter of more or less. When everyone had no money at first, everyone wanted to be rich, but when the amount of money really reached an unparalleled level when you don't care about money. It's really not that big of a deal. Only, Newgate couldn't help but said, Big brother, third child, how much gold and silver treasure did you rob? Alan shrugged and said, I don't know. It's almost the entire trading city, other than that. Who can count the exact number? Isn't this nonsense? Seeing his eldest brother roll his eyes, Newgate was too lazy to say anything, while Kaido spread his hands and said with a rotten look, let Bagley and the others count. Anyway, this is not mine. Work. F*K. Newgate can't help but complain. These two guys are really irritating. Never mind. Anyway, let Bagley take care of it, it's not a big deal anyway. Looking at such a huge treasure, Bagley really fell into silence, he didn't know what to say. In the room, Alan looked at the devil fruit in front of him, and a terrifying flame suddenly emerged from his body. The next moment, he devoured all 20 devil fruits in total. Extract. Alan gave the order directly, next. As the 10 devil fruits were exhausted, the power of the only 2 spells left were simultaneously integrated into his body. Squinting slightly, Alan felt that his body had become completely different, it was a special divine power, as if his body had become abnormally perfect. Roar. The whole person let out a terrifying roar, which was like a dragon's roar. The next moment, Alan's whole body was full of terrifying auras, and these terrifying auras were gathering crazily, together. Next moment, everything is calm, and Alan's eyes are slowly opened after everything is calm, those red vertical pupils are really like dragons. No, it should be said that it should not be said that it is simply just dragon, but a posture like a demon. Hot smoke emerged from his throat, and Alan moved his muscles slightly. Crackling. The whole body was like a burst of beans, and a terrifying aura burst out. Alan's killing intent was so terrifying, he whispered in a low voice, it's really terrifying power. This is the complete 12 spells, right? Is this the full power of the Lord? 35. Alan clenched his fist with one hand, and a terrifying heat wave emerged from his palm, and then everything returned to calm. Alan shook his head slightly, and said interestingly, it's interesting. This is the Holy Lord's power. In other words, the power of the 12 spells is not the power of the 12 spells at all. Open panel. Name. Edward Allen. Template. Fire Demon Lord 100%. Magic. The magic of fire. 12 charms. Perfect. Ghost Mask. Inactive. 8 Demons. Demon of Fire, inactive. 9 Ghosts General. Inactive. Hockey. Conqueror's Hockey, superior. Armament Hockey, superior. Observation Hockey, superior. Looking at his panel, Alan pondered. With the perfect activation of the 12 spells, the template of the Holy Master has indeed reached 100%, and the attribute column of the 12 spells has also reached perfection. Degree, though, what the hell do these 8 demons mean? Alan looked at this. This has always been the strangest thing about him. This is no joke. Alan has always felt strange about his own 3-no system, after all. The division of this panel is really too strange. Even it's kind of weird. 8 demons, 9 ghost generals, ghost masks, 12 spells, and demonic energy. What are these divisions for? Or, probably just my guess. Alan has an idea, but he is not particularly sure, mainly because he thinks, is this a very strange situation? However, I still thought about these situations a little, and did not continue to consider them for the time being. Seriously, regarding his own 3-no system, Alan really had an urge to smash this broken system not only once, but he was really mad at TM. Basically, all he should know is that he doesn't know, and he shouldn't know. I don't even know. This situation is very outrageous. TM is very outrageous. For this kind of 3-no system, it is purely guessed by oneself. It is a character attribute panel. Look at this and you can guess. Just guessed it, and what if you couldn't guess it? Alan is too lazy to complain about this 3-no system. Anyway, he is used to it for so many years. It has always been a panel. Apart from this panel, there is really nothing, and there is no way to complain. It is really only possible to rely on do your own research, otherwise. It's just a smear. Or it's a basic ability. But the problem is, this system is really more than just basic abilities. It can only be said that this is indeed a very embarrassing thing. Alan thought for a while, then sat down with his knees crossed, thinking, do you want to directly open the second template? 5. Seriously, Alan felt that he only needed 5 devil fruit to open the second template. But, for this second template, Alan has some considerations. If it is directly opened, is it not good? After all, not joking, although I said that I perfectly activated the 100% template of the Holy Master, but for this power, I am not a perfect master. It should be said that I am only a part of the master, or even to say. There seems to be something wrong with my ability. Alan murmured, there seems to be some problem somewhere. But, where is the problem? Never mind. Don't worry, I'll study it first. Alan is not in a hurry to open the second template, but intends to study it. It seems that there are some problems. And this problem is the most interesting thing for him. What is this thing? Seriously, Alan now has a guess, but it's just a very vague guess. Of course, if it can be successful, then it will be very interesting, and even say that his system has something. Of course, as Alan gradually researched, he found it. It seems that his own system has some interesting things. And what is this thing? The smile on the corner of Alan's mouth is getting stronger and more interesting. Ha ha ha, 35. Interesting. 39. Alan's mouth twitched into a smile, and said interestingly, although it is. This is my guess, but if it's true, it's interesting. Exactly. You can try it tomorrow, it's really interesting. Now. Search. Licking the corners of his mouth slightly, Alan never imagined that he would have researched such an effect. If this is true, then, the result will be different. Even say, in the future, the strongest pirate group under his hands will undergo earth-shaking changes, after all. If his thoughts are true, everything is completely different. P.S. 5,000-word chapter. Daily 6 updates. First update. Please subscribe. Please customize. Please collect. Chapter 128. Dragon Spell. Kaido. Dog Spell. Newgate. Day 2. Uncle. 39. Abel looked at Alan for a moment, then said strangely, Uncle, who are you? What? I have researched something interesting. 39. The corners of his mouth twitched. Alan studied for a night yesterday and came up with something very interesting. A smile appeared. Alan really did not expect that this broken system of his own would have such ability, or rather. This was a situation that he had never imagined. As for the specific situation. Actually, there's not much more to say about this. Search. Alan licked the corner of his mouth slightly, and said with a smile, Abel, call me all the others, I will study it carefully. It is good. Abel looked at his uncle and shivered with fright. It was so scary, right? My uncle is too scary, right? No matter what it is, hurry up. I'll go first running aside, there can be no problem with too many people, right? Perhaps. 12 spells. 8 great demonic chi. 9 ghost masks. Interesting. Alan's smile grew stronger and stronger, and he never imagined that it would be such an interesting situation, or rather. The ability of this system turned out to be like this, which he had never imagined. Soon, everyone came over, and Newgate and Kaido both asked in astonishment, Brother. What's the situation? Alan waved his hand and said interestingly, I didn't expect that my ability would be like this. Come and have a look. 35. What? One by one, They all walked over with a dazed expression, to be honest. Everyone was quite at a loss, not knowing what happened. Worth to talk about. Alan directly said that he was optimistic. After Alan's research, he has found out what the relationship between the 12 spells and the Lord is. Or, the Holy Master only represents the dragon among the 12 spells, and all he possesses is the divine power of the dragon, and in ancient times, the Holy Lord devoured the other 12 spells and absorbed their divine power, thus making the 12 spells become the power of the Lord. It was yesterday. After the template of the Holy Master reached 100%, Alan got some memory inheritance and learned a lot of secrets from ancient times. In ancient times, were there 8 great demons? Actually, this statement is nonsense. In ancient times, there were essentially 7 demons: the demon of the moon, the demon of the mountain, the demon of the wind, the demon of thunder, the demon of water, the demon of the earth, and the demon of the sky. It is the 7 demons in ancient times, and the Holy Lord is the zodiac who guards the earth with other 11 zodiac signs on the vast ancient earth. The result. But a very interesting thing happened. The Holy Lord swallowed, he acquired other zodiac signs, possessed terrifying power, and became the fire demon, one of the 8 demons. This is also why the demonic energy of fire is the source of the Holy Master. In Alan's perception, the power of the 12 zodiac signs seems to be different from that of the Holy Master. Of course, all these are known, but as time goes by, they are sealed by the 8 immortals, and everything that follows is everything in the story, but Alan found through the system that when he only needs to put a certain demon after the power is developed to ultimate, the sub-power can be extended. What does this mean? Alan can give sub-powers to someone, and let the whole person develop gradually. Put another way, Alan gave Abel the magic energy of fire, then Abel has the magic energy of fire, but he needs to develop it step by step until it reaches 100%, but he will not have the ability of 12 spells. Because 12 spells, 8 demons, and ghost masks. These are all independent. Alan finally understands after research. No wonder. His attribute panel looks like this. It turns out that he can give sub-powers to his subordinates. Take it back, at the same time. They will also remain absolutely loyal. This kind of loyalty does not mean the type of knelt down and directly shouting at the master, but the subtlety so that they will never betray, but this kind of loyalty, this is the most terrifying. In fact, Alan researched and discovered this situation. Isn't this operation the operation of the little devil dragon? Give some of your magic energy to others, and let others do the same without weakening yourself. With such power, this is the fundamental operation, and you can retrieve your own power anytime, anywhere. Now, Alan has activated the template of the Fire Demon Lord to 100%, so he can already give the power of fire magic and 12 spells to others. As for other powers, then of course, it can't be done. Only activation to 100% is to do this step. And Alan's first experimental target is Abel, because Abel's situation is special and most suitable. Big brother, uncle, dad, everyone gathered around, all with a confused look, as if they didn't know what was going on. They were all very curious and looked at the scene in front of them. Alan waved his hand and said very calmly, "It's just for you to come and have a look, just look at it." Talking, Alan opened one hand, and the monstrous flames burst into flames. This terrifying flame gradually turned into a fire dragon. It floated in the air and finally penetrated directly into Abel's body. Roar. In an instant, Abel let out a terrifying roar, and the moment he opened his mouth, a bursting shock wave ran through the distance. Not only that, the flame that Abel himself could control was also integrated into it, and this flame shock wave was even more in the flames. Under the blessing, as if it expanded several times in an instant, the power of terror was greatly blessed. Ha ha ha. Seeing this scene, Alan laughed and said, "How does it feel?" 66.99. Gudong. Everyone is stunned, looking at the scene in front of them one by one, they all look shocked. No wonder they are all like this, it is too shocking. What happened? What's going on? They are really too shocked. Can't imagine such a situation at all. On the other hand, Alan said carelessly, if you look at the situation as a whole, it's actually very simple. After all, I'm not kidding, under such a situation, there is no doubt about the improvement. I have given you a part of my strength to increase your strength. How do you feel about this situation? Gudong. Everyone was swallowing saliva, but Newgate and Kaido frowned. Newgate said solemnly, "Brother, in this case, has your strength been weakened?" Yes. 39. Kaido also agreed. "Brother, if your strength is weakened, then this is absolutely unnecessary. They are little bastards. As long as it is almost enough, there is no need to consume your strength at all. Brother." Ha ha ha. Relax. Alan smiled and waved his hand, but when he opened his mouth, a terrifying shock wave went straight into the distance, in an instant. The shock wave that ran through seemed to destroy everything. At that moment, the burst of power seemed to be to run through everything in general. As for the same power as Alan and Abel, he can only say, in terms of pure strength, they are not of the same level at all, and there is absolutely no comparison between the two. The two brothers were stunned when they saw this situation, and then they calmed down. Although they said, everyone is family, But some things are not suitable to be said at this time, but wait until night falls and the three brothers discuss it is the most appropriate time to discuss it. Uncle. When Abel recovered, his eyes widened in shock, but the next moment, Alan hooked with one hand, and the power of a dragon emerged from Abel's body, and then withdrew his hand. Alan stood up and said loudly, "Little brats. Did I show you all? Lao Tzu can give you new powers. Give Lao Tzu a lot of effort. At that time, Lao Tzu will give you new strengths. As for you, Abel, as long as you meet Lao Tzu's expectations, the power of this dragon's blasting will be given to you." Uncle. 99. No problem. Roar. Everyone let out a deafening roar. In an instant, Alan has settled everything. In the library, Kaido held the wine gourd and took a big gulp of drinking, but just asked, "Big brother. What the hell is going on with you?" Alan shrugged and said, "After I developed my abilities to a similar level, I found out I can classify abilities into sub-abilities and inject them into my own body, and the whole person is the basic form that can have this ability. They developed it step by step, but you have also discovered that, as long as I want, you can take it out at any time." As for Abel, 5. Abel is the most suitable owner of the dragon charm, but considering the situation of other little devils, it's better to pay attention to it, otherwise. If the other little devils are also dissatisfied, it will be quite troublesome. That's it. Don't look at Alan's carelessness, just think that Alan doesn't care about all of this. On the contrary, Alan doesn't care, on the contrary. Alan cares very much, even very serious, for all this, the research is very clear, and it is very clear, what is the root of this. Therefore, Alan needs to think about the situation of these little bastards in his family, otherwise. The heart of these little bastards is also a big problem, isn't it? Although Alan doesn't care, but if you want to build the most powerful pirate group in the world, then this is a matter of course. It turned out to be so. Both brothers nodded in understanding. Newgate said unceremoniously, "Brother, is there any ability that is suitable for me?" Alan glanced at Newgate and thought for a moment. "Dog spells. Seriously, dog spells are the best for you." The corners of Newgate's mouth twitched, and he couldn't help but complain, "Brother. What is a dog spell?" This. Alan shrugged his shoulders, and said all the abilities of the 12 spells, and he had nothing to hide. This is his own younger brother, do you still need to hide it? Sorry. Do something like this. It's like taking out the dragon charm from Abel's body, to put it bluntly. I also recognize Abel, and tell Abel that he just needs to work hard. Seriously. Compared with the dragon charm, Abel is most suitable for the magic of fire. Of course. This is hard to say. Maybe he will give the magic of fire to Abel. Anyway, these are all, it's just what he said. The power of immortality and immortality. Kaido thought about it and said, "It is really suitable for the second brother, it is indeed more suitable." To be honest, brother, I think that your dragon spell ability is very suitable for Laozi. If possible, Laozi thinks it is very suitable. Dragon talisman. Actually, Alan shrugged and said, "There is no difference in essence, you can develop it yourself. As long as the magical power of the dragon spell and dog spell is developed, you can't say that they are immortal. However, the lifespan can be hundreds or thousands of years. All are no problem." Alan means that he is quite calm. Just kidding, what he gave them is not just the magical power of the spell, not only that. It also includes the essence of the spell, the divine power of the zodiac. After they only need the master, they will gradually develop it. The future is all about it is possible to live a very long life, which is one of the most important fundamental reasons. No problem. Big brother. 35. Kaido said bluntly, "Leave the divine power of the dragon spell to me." Newgate also agreed. "Brother. Then, leave the power of the dog spell to me. For me, the power of the owner shock fruit is enough." Worororo. The two brothers looked at each other and couldn't help laughing. Ha ha ha. Looking at these two impolite little devils, Alan also laughed and said, "You two guys. But it doesn't matter, but I tell you, develop well. The power of this zodiac is very strong. The horror of, if it can be developed, in the future. Your strength will be greatly improved. Qian Nuo is good. Don't worry." The two brothers gave thumbs up. Is there any problem? The two brothers don't care at all. And Alan has no explanation. Don't think that the power of the 12 spells is weaker than the 8 demons. On the contrary, this is an equal power. In ancient times, if the traitor, the Holy Lord Dragon, did not appear, the 7 demons would not dare to come over. The zodiac all pressed the 7 demons to the ground and rubbed them against the ground. If it weren't for the sudden attack by the Holy Master, it is estimated that the results are different. Alan opened one hand, and the fire dragon emerged again. This time, the responsibility was directly integrated into Kaido's body. The lines of the dragon flashed in Kaido's eyes, and the next moment, the whole person's breath seemed to be different. Kaido growled hideously. "Brother. I feel as if everything about myself has changed. It's too powerful." Worororo. Alan was stunned for a moment, but after thinking about it for a while, he understood, then nodded and said, "Probably what happened to your green dragon fruit and dragon charm. But it doesn't matter, it's a good thing anyway. Indeed. Kaido also nodded. The other side. Alan released his ability again, the phantom of the dog spell appeared, and the next moment it merged into Newgate's body. Roar. P.S. 5,000 word chapter. Daily 6 updates. Second update. Please subscribe. Please customize. Please collect. Goo la la la. Don't worry, big brother. No problem, big brother. Alan smiled and said, you two stinky boys, develop your abilities well. Newgate let out a roar, felt his body, and couldn't help laughing. It's really too much fun. Such power. Newgate said seriously. Brother. I have never felt so relaxed in my body. This is the power of the dog spell. Chapter 129. War Nation. Douglas Team. Edward Newgate has the power of a dog spell. Edward Kaido has the magical power of the dragon charm. All of these. That's how the curtain came to an end for the time being, and that's about it. The next life is a very peaceful life. Worth to talk about. For pirates, what do they do every day? Actually. This is a very interesting thing, or in other words, this is an interesting statement. Most of the time, what are people like pirates doing? This is the most interesting thing, isn't it? Therefore, this is a very interesting thing. In fact, pirates spend most of their time on boring sailing days. If they were replaced by people like the Straw Hat Pirates, they would all use Raftel as the target of their sailing, then have their own destination, and most of the pirates. They go out to sea to burn, kill and loot, no matter what the reason is. In a word, these pirates have their own ideas. This is absolutely certain, and under such circumstances, the situation is naturally different. That's it. So, a lot of everything is completely different, then it is fundamentally different, just like the 3 Edward brothers. Basically they are hanging out on the sea, and when they come across the island, they will go up to see it. That is to keep hanging out. This is the daily life of most pirates, seriously. If you can't get used to this kind of life, it's really uncomfortable. But, Alan's daily life, most of the time is sleeping, eating and training, basically 3 points and 1 line, want to be the strongest in the world. And the strongest in the real sense, then. But there is no time to be lazy. You have to work hard enough, and work from the heart, from the soul. Only in this way can you truly reach the strongest level in the world, and everyone under Brother Edward is also working hard to transform, and everyone is becoming stronger from the heart. There is no doubt that it is. He let out a sigh of turbid air and ended his daily training. Alan wiped the sweat from his forehead. He remained calm, but thought again, I feel. It seems that there has been a change in essence. What? Clenching a fist with one hand. Alan can feel that as he develops 100% of the master template, but it seems that he has undergone a transformation. His physical aptitude and the speed of his strength have been improved rapidly. Put another way, in the past, Alan only had a change of 0.001 in 1 day of exercise, and it has been 893 days. It has reached a change of 0.005. Don't think that this is an insignificant change intensity. In fact, it is not the case at all. With Alan's strength, it is basically it takes time to improve your strength. And to be able to improve every day's training is already very amazing. No, it should be said that this is like a monster-like improvement. Because of this, under such circumstances, Alan's improvement is definitely worth it. Don't think it's a very simple thing. On the contrary, it's not an easy thing. Slightly let out a sigh of turbid air. Alan felt the change, but nodded comfortably. It's still good. 35. Humph. A smile appeared. For Alan to improve his strength, this is the most comfortable thing for Alan, and the improvement of his strength is also the most enjoyable thing. At least, for Alan, except for all the insights brought by the improvement of his strength besides everything else. For me, it's more of a step. Dad, little rabbit. Looking at Guion, Alan just smiled. No one is hard-hearted. He has raised his own daughter for so many years. How can he have no feelings at all? This is pure nonsense. In fact, not only there are feelings, and Alan's feelings are still very strong. Looking at the girl in front of him, Alan smiled and said, Little rabbit, what's the matter? Guion hurried over, surrounded Alan directly, and said with a smile, Dad. Today's training is over, so come and see you. It is good. Alan smiled and nodded. Boom, boom. At this moment, the roar of artillery fire interrupted this warm feeling, and Alan always felt that the little rabbit seemed to be getting more and more strange about his own thoughts, don't you think? Never mind. Never mind. It's better not to think about it. It's not necessary. It's really not necessary. If there is any accident, it's really something that can't be done. Anyway, Alan is quite calm, so don't think too much about these things. What's the situation? I don't know. 95. Check it out. What happened? Everyone immediately started to get busy, joking. Although I heard the roar of artillery fire, but no one was found. This is the strangest thing. One by one immediately started to get busy, and everyone was very of curiosity. As time went by, everyone quickly dealt with it, and Bagley came over and said, Uncle. I probably understand what's going on. What? Alan asked curiously, what's the situation? Bagley scratched his head and said, Uncle, this island has no name, but there are two countries on the island, both of which are thinking about annexing each other, and this kind of war has been going on for decades. Even for hundreds of years, this island has been called a war country over time. Cut. 35. Alan waved his hands boredly and said, so it's such a country. That's really meaningless. For this, Alan really finds it quite boring. Mainly, there are too many such countries in this new world, and there are simply too many countries covered by war all the year round. Including Kaido's hometown, the Verka Kingdom. Isn't this a country that has been covered by war all the year round? It's just a matter of course. It's not a big problem, just get used to it. Worth to talk about. The face base of this world is about 10 times larger than that of the previous life. That's right. The face of the world of the Great Pirate is about 10 times larger than that of the Blue Star in the previous life, so it is said. Although the Grand Line is only an extremely small route. But after so many years, Alan really does not have everything all the way around. And a lot of times, why do pirates just wander around? Because the world is so big. In addition to normal navigation, many times, even if you are wandering, you can reach countries that you have never seen before. Because of this, under such circumstances, the result is of course needless to say. Because of this situation, over time, everything has become completely different, and Alan is very calm about all this. The main reason is to see more. Then is there anything else to be concerned about? This is also the fundamental key reason. What? Breathing lazily, Alan said casually, let's go. 39. Bagley shook his head and said, Uncle. Dad and Uncle went to the island to watch the fun. Forehead. Hearing this, Alan's mouth twitched, and he was embarrassed to say these two guys, they were going to watch the fun. It's just like nonsense. These two guys are going to try new powers. Oh. These two guys. Never mind. Alan waved his hand and said casually, it's just two bastards anyway, I'm too lazy to pay attention to these two guys. Stop the boat, don't need to pay attention to these two guys. You can leave soon. Okay, Uncle. Bagley immediately went to prepare to go, while Guillaume asked curiously, Dad, what is the situation of the second uncle and the third uncle? Alan shrugged and said, it's not a big deal. These two guys just met their own strength, so let's vent a little, just a small problem. Alan doesn't take it seriously, mainly. It's really a small thing. No matter how crazy these two guys are, one thing is absolutely certain is that this island can still hurt these two guys. That, Alan just ate the whole ship, which is pure bullshit. Go on a nap and you're done. Snapped, snapped, boom. Boom. Newgate and Kaido were both walking on the road with weapons in hand, and when they heard this deafening roar, they both rubbed their brows slightly. Kaido looked around and said, Brother, what's going on with this island? 35. Compared with Kaido, he didn't understand it at all, but Newgate understood it a little bit and said casually, if I remember correctly. This island was actually a country at first, but because of the reason is that the country is divided, and every king of the country says that he is the orthodox. There is a war, and this war seems to have lasted for hundreds of years. What? Kaido said strangely, because of this kind of boring thing. Newgate shrugged, because of this kind of boring stuff. It's really boring. Kaido pinched his nose bored, shook his head and said, but. Second brother, it happens to be on this war island, let's test our strength. Goo la la la. Newgate also gave this thumbs up. I think so too. 35. The two brothers looked at each other, and both saw a ferocious look. This is the three Edward brothers. They are pure pirates. As pirates, they are just a bunch of crazy guys. There is no need for any hesitation at all. If I want to do it, I can do it. The result is the end. Pirates. Again, since I chose to be a pirate, then, it is a matter of course to go this far. This is beyond doubt, and because of this, the three Edward brothers have always been very clear about their own positioning. Or, everyone is very clear that since they have chosen themselves as this so-called pirate, then they can just abandon the sad kindness. As a pirate, it is enough to remain vicious, as for kindness. The Edward family. That's their kindness, that's their family, and that's where they really are. Not a total crazy monster, they all live here, and that's where they're supposed to live, because so. This is their terrifying power. Even say, this is their invincible power, and this is the most terrifying power, and in such a situation, what will the result be? In fact, there is no doubt. Woo. Breathing out a suffocating breath, Newgate took a cigar and walked towards the depths of the island. The original Newgate did not smoke, but, now under the leadership of Alan, he did start to smoke, which is not what a strange thing. A wisp of blue smoke was exhaled, and Newgate strode toward the distance. Boom, boom, and with this deafening roar, the chaos and madness of the island in front of them seemed to be displayed. Kill, kill, roar. With this deafening roar, a large number of people have entered the battlefield, not only adults. Including children, the elderly, as long as it is an individual, no matter who you are, you all need to go to the battlefield. You need to kill the enemy. Only by killing the enemy can you survive. This is the cruelty of war, or in other words, this is the root of the sea, whether it is the Sphinx, the Verka kingdom, or other kingdoms, in fact. It has changed. Many people will find that in this sea many of the powerhouses above, they are all mud legs. Noble, royal family. It is impossible to say that there is no one, but this number is really extremely rare. Anytime. As long as there is a little chance, they will not become pirates, and those who really struggle, they will become the top powerhouses above the sea. And those nobles and royals enjoy themselves. Is your life not good? Why enter such a chaotic world? This is. Newgate looked at the flag in front of him, and thought for a while. Douglas unit. It's interesting. Let me take a look. A savage killing intent emerged, but Newgate thought it was very interesting. On the other side, Worororo. Compared with Newgate, Kaido did not hesitate to shoot. The terrifying force was released in a frenzy, and under the terrifying offensive, the enemy had been completely swept away, so terrifying. Under the offensive, it is too terrifying. Enjoyed. Kaido's eyes flickered with terrifying light, but without any hesitation, when he opened his mouth, one after another shock wave fell madly. Anyway, it was a chaotic battlefield, so he didn't care if there were other people involved. Not bad. 35. Wiping the corners of his mouth, Kaido felt his power, which was really interesting. As a fish fruit, phantom type, and blue dragon type ability person, Kaido never imagined that the dragon charm and himself would match so well. Should say, the power of the dragon charm that Kaido exerts has increased by many times, not only because of his own strength, but also because the dragon charm and himself are too matched. Under such circumstances, the strength displayed is too amazing. Because of this is the most interesting thing. Search. Licking the corner of his mouth slightly, Kaido also continued to go to the depths of the island, to be honest. This island is probably like this, but if you can encounter something good, then of course it is the best thing. Even though the possibility of this is really slim, it's almost impossible. It's not a strange thing. If it were really that easy, then it's the strangest thing. Isn't it? Hehe. But Kaido is also very interested in what kind of little ghosts there are in this battlefield. Such a battlefield, the little ghosts born will have more outstanding qualifications. It is also very trustworthy. There is no doubt about it. P.S. 5,000 word chapter. Daily 6 updates. Third update. Please subscribe. Please customize. Please collect. Chapter 130. Newgate's new Yoshiko. Douglas Bullet. Fusion fruit. After a good night's sleep, Alan stretched out comfortably, looked at the already dark sky, and asked casually, second and third, are these two guys back? Uncle. Abel shook his head and said, second uncle and dad have not come back yet. Alan said casually, really, these two guys have been messing around for a day. Yes, isn't it endless? Slowly standing up, Alan rubbed his neck a little, of course. With his own strength, although it is said that there will be no such thing as a stiff neck, but Alan does not feel that he is no longer a human being. As a human being, this is more comfortable, there is no doubt about it. Lighting a cigarette and puffing clouds of smoke, Alan said casually, so. These two guys are just making trouble, and traveling on this island is meaningless. Of course, Alan is also a person. Of course, as a person, he likes to play, but it's just different. If you have a very good island, I would go for a stroll, and just go for a stroll. As a result, such an island, I go to this island to hang out. Isn't this bullshit? Goo la la la. Big brother. I haven't come back, I heard you scold us here. Cut. Alan curled his lips, and said in a bored way, does the stinky brat know to come back? It's really annoying. Alan stood up and looked down at Newgate, who was walking back step by step. He buckled his ears slightly, and also saw a group of little ghosts following Newgate. He swept away, but there was nothing worth noticing, though. Next moment, Alan was a little stunned. It was a kid with blonde hair. Alan looked at this kid and felt that it was a little different. Big brother. Newgate jumped up with these dozens of little ghosts and returned to the pirate ship. Alan asked, who are these little ghosts? Goo la la la. Newgate said with a big smile. Brother. These little devils are all war orphans on this island. I think they all joined the battlefield at a young age and brought them back. They are all part of our family. Member. Cut. 99. Alan pouted and asked indifferently, little devil. What's your name? My name is Edward Bullet. Looking at the brat with his head held high, Alan said in an interesting way, nice brat. Newgate said arrogantly, isn't this a matter of course? This is Laozi's son. 99. Goo la la la. Newgate was laughing, and Alan was interested. This little devil, Edward Bullet. What if I changed my name? Douglas Bullet. Presumably. Many people know who this name is. This is a real monster. The kind of monster with extraordinary talent. One person destroyed his country because of betrayal. Then joined the Roger Pirates, after Roger died, because of various all sorts of reasons or falling into madness. Afterwards, Bullet was arrested by the Buster Call led by Sengoku and Garp after the chaos. From then on, until the future era of extreme evil, Bullet was released. After that, Bullet even more it's the Pirate Expo. In general, Bullet's life is indeed a tragedy. It's almost a tragedy. However, one thing you have to admit is that Bullet is indeed a genius. There is no doubt about it. Bullet is very good. The group is like a monster. As for what, besides Roger, are Rayleigh and Jabba not his opponents? This statement, that is purely a joke, and it is impossible for Rayleigh and Jabba to fight against a kid in the true sense. Of course, Bullet is a monstrous monster. But it definitely did not reach this level, otherwise. Bullet is not just here, and that strength is not like this. There is no doubt about it, the battle between Bullet and Crocodile it ended in a tie, in fact, at this time. Basically, I understand what happened. Bullet's strength is there, but it still needs time to grow. There is no doubt about it as a monster. Only, Alan didn't expect that Bullet would become Newgate's son. Rubbing his chin, he said in his heart, so. This country is the country that Bullet used to be when he was young. Quote. Alan shook his head, but he really didn't expect such a situation. It's not a strange thing. After all, this world is too huge, and the countries of the New World are also very numerous. The ghost knows what the situation in Bullet is. And in such a situation, naturally, everything is completely different. Breathing out a puff of smoke, Alan looked at the Bullet and said in approval, nice brat. 99. Uncle, Bullet's straight body looks very good. Ha ha ha, good, not bad. 5. Little brats, prepare for Laozi. In order to welcome your brothers, a banquet is held, and Laozi is entertained. 99. Oh. Following Alan's order, the pirates roared excitedly, and their eyes flashed with crazy light. It's so exciting. I didn't expect it to be like this. Alas, this is way too exciting. Of course, for this situation, Alan doesn't care at all, but quietly looks at everything in front of him. And as time goes by, everything that follows will become very interesting. Search. Licking the corner of his mouth slightly, Alan's eyes murmured interestingly. Everything in the future is getting more and more interesting. How powerful will the pirate group created by Laozi be? He. This will truly become the #1 pirate group in the world. Worororo. At this time, with the heroic laughter coming, Kaido also came back with a group of little ghosts, and said carelessly, Big brother. Second brother. You are really very inauthentic. I haven't come back. The banquet is about to start. Don't you plan to wait for me? Gu la, step by step. Newgate laughed and scolded. Stinky boy. The speed of your coming back is too slow. It's a party. Oh. Everyone was roaring, and the banquet began. 3 wine tours. As the banquet began, when the little ghosts drank the Yoko wine, they became the sons of Newgate and Kaido respectively. Carmenio. Bullet. The 2 people are the 18th adopted son and the 19th adopted son respectively, we can only say. And what about the other little devils? It is undeniable. They are also very good, but they are all brothers and sisters, and there is no clear identity. This is also a very normal thing. For this sea, it is basically divided like this. If it is said that within a pirate group, everyone's status is equal. That is the biggest trouble, right? Don't say that a pirate group is equal, even in any force, everyone is equal, but there will be huge problems. Don't be suspicious, it's a huge problem in itself, it's the whole world. If there's no real difference but absolute peace, then there's essentially a huge problem. There's no need to doubt it at all matter. Breathing out a plume of smoke, Alan looked at the lively banquet, and the corners of his mouth evoked a very interesting smile. The smile was very strong. It is undeniable. Now the power is really getting stronger and stronger. The more terrifying. It's really good. Sitting on the sofa, Alan said with a touch of emotion, this feeling is really good. Big brother. Kaido walked over and said with a smile, brother. How is your perception? Ha. Is not this nonsensical? Every kid is good enough. That's right. The brothers Alan and Kaido were chatting carelessly, and then, Kaido thought of something and said, brother, this is a devil fruit I found, do you see what it is? Seriously. Kaido doesn't even know if the devil fruit picture book is a dime. Everyone knows about this situation, but it doesn't matter. Anyway, if you know it, you know it, and if you don't know it, you don't know it. Someone will know. If it takes a few people to do everything, then what are the other people doing? Looking at the devil fruit in his hand, Alan thought for a moment and said, Paramesha combination fruit. It's also a very good devil fruit, and it can't be regarded as the top one. But it's amazing when it's developed. That's it. Kaido also nodded, while Alan threw the devil fruit directly to Bullet and said, Bullet, this devil fruit is for you. Okay, Uncle. 99. Bullet didn't even ask, took the devil fruit and ate the devil fruit in big gulps, almost without any hesitation, and without any resistance. It's not surprising, this is Bullet's character. For Bullet, he is a soldier, and as a soldier the most is to accept orders. Since this is the uncle's order, then of course there is no need to say anything. Alan also smiled and shook his head, but didn't say anything. As time goes by, Bullet will always change, it's not a big problem, other than that. Fusion fruit, this is a rather special one devil fruit. Ask for flowers. Combined fruit. This devil fruit can combine inorganic substances with the body, and at the same time, it can be fused with the body, and can be changed to create new weapons, such as submarines or weapons created from rubble and scrap iron. The way it is. As for Bullet, he grew up on the battlefield from childhood to adulthood. Naturally, there is no doubt about the power exerted by this devil fruit. It can be said that Bullet can transform the devil fruit's power. The power is fully developed. This is the most important fundamental core. The power of this devil fruit is absolutely outstanding, and I want to use it perfectly. This takes time, and Bullet obviously has such an ability, there is no doubt about it. It can be said, the most suitable ability for this devil fruit is Bullet, so to speak. It is almost the most suitable thing. Newgate also came over and asked, Big brother, what kind of devil fruit is that? Paramesha integrated fruit. A good devil fruit, but if you want to play this devil fruit perfectly, you have to be Bullet. He grew up in the battlefield, and is skilled in the use of various weapons. The power that this devil fruit can exert is excellent. Listening to Alan's explanation, Newgate and Kaido are both nodding. You and can only say, that's true. If that's the case, then of course there is no need to say anything more, trust in your big brother. Then it is true that it has reached a level of magic, in the eyes of the two brothers. Big brother will never do anything wrong, big brother is absolutely perfect in everything. Can only say, they all grew up under Alan's leadership. In fact, it's not a strange thing to have such an idea. Alan is also very calm about this, which is not a strange thing. The growth between the family, this is the way it is, the growth between brothers is to establish their own feelings. All right, don't talk so much, enjoy the banquet. Goo la la la, worororo. Looking at these two brats, Alan also smiled and shrugged casually. They are really two annoying brats. I really don't want to say anything, but, looking at the two brats leaving, Alan he squinted his eyes and thought secretly, in terms of strength, it seems to be good enough, right? Not counting himself, Newgate, and Kaido. Other people. Marco, Jose, Bista, Jinbei, Ramank, Carmenio, Bullet, Abel, Gion, Bagley, Tiger, Namur, Aruban, Karma, Tezzolo, Wydib, Epoida, Andre, Doma, Squard, Makuge. Before you know it, the number of these little devils has reached 21. And the aptitude of penultimate, the aptitude is terrifying, anyway. No matter what it is, there are no wastes among these little devils, and each and every one of them is very outstanding. Gudong, Gudong. He drank heavily and drank the wine in the glass, while Alan raised his head, leaned on the sofa, looked at the moonlight in the sky, and murmured, Captain Rocks. Everything has changed. It's different. You have created a past that has never been seen before, and then, I will create a future that will never come. Ha ha ha, it's really interesting. Alan's smile is so crazy and so arrogant, it's too funny. Everything seems to be in front of his eyes, all this is like this, then let me take a look. What will be the next result? Search. Lightly licking the corner of his mouth, Alan's smile was unusually strong, and he even whispered in a ferocious whisper, it's really too interesting. This world. The more you understand the world, the more you will understand that everything you know is just a joke. And in such a situation, what will be the result? Will be very interesting. Alan is very clear. This world is very interesting. And Lao Su is also very interested, but he wants to see what will happen in the future of this world. And what will the follow-up result be? In fact, there is no doubt about it. This will be the most chaotic era, and what I am most looking forward to is such a chaotic era. Let this chaotic world see what your own strength is. P.S. 5,000 word chapter. Daily 6 updates. 4th update. Please subscribe. Please customize. Please collect.